Welcome, everyone, to my hotel room. I'm Caleb Jones, and we will get started in a few minutes. I will wait a few minutes for everyone to file in and all the usual live streamy stuff, and we'll get started. Gonna make sure everything's working here. Are we live? We're live. Yes, we are. All right, cool. As I drink out of my xenoestrogen-filled bottle, plastic bottle. I'm traveling, so I have to drink out of plastic bottles. But I'm on estrogen blockers, so I don't care. All right. If you guys could put in the chat that you can both see me and hear me, that would be wunderbar or wunderbar. I got to say it correctly. I got to speak my German correctly. Gleich die Ecke, ich wohne da drüben. Mein Name ist Caleb. So I can speak German. No camera on LinkedIn. Really? Really, really? Okay. Can anyone else report that you can see me, please? Or if you can't. If you're on LinkedIn, wait a little bit. There might be a delay. That's interesting. This is the very first time I've done LinkedIn. Let me see if I can do something here to fix that. Looks good. Yes, Cullen, I see your comment. Can someone else tell me if you can see me who's not on LinkedIn? Don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years, rocking my peers. I put suckers in fear, making the chain ring down like a monsoon. Black guys in the 90s used to do this. Yo, man, shit. Why you guys bring that back? So YouTube here, but can you see me on YouTube? That's the question. Can you see me on YouTube? Can you see me on Facebook? Just say, yes, I can see you and I'm on blank. As I pretend to be black. I don't know why I was doing that. Yes. Yes, what? Oh, I can tell where you're coming from. So you can see on YouTube. Okay, yes, thank you. Okay. So you LinkedIn people, I will do my best. Hang on. And I may not be able to do much more than that because I'm at the mercy of StreamYard or StreamYard. You can see and hear me. And you are on, oh, you can, all right. So Cullen, you should be able to see me because someone else on LinkedIn can also see me. Cool, cool. All right, wunderbar. I'll wait another minute or so. We can just shoot the shit until we get started. Shoot the shit means hang out and talk. That's a Hicks saying. You shoot the shit. When people have nothing to do, they shoot the shit. Opinion on moving to Brazil. Brazil is fine as long as you're cool with the crazy culture down there. A lot of guys like that. And make sure you have location-independent income that comes from outside of Brazil. I don't think I would want to rely on location-dependent income in Brazil right now. But sure, perfectly fine. Here we go. Yay, good. You guys can see me. That's wonderful. Wonderful. Oh, Andrew Tate's back. You didn't know what song? Mama Said Knock You Out by LL Cool J. It's the only rap song I know. Don't call this a regular plan. I'm going to rock this land. The email said 11:30 PST. It did? Well, what time is it? It's 8:30. It did? Oh, no. Really? Shit. Well, someone's going to have to get fired then. Should be 11:30 EST. All right. My bad if that's true. Yeah, I'll get around to it at some point. I got to go to Miami, and that's not my favorite place to go. But yes. I am currently in Portland, Oregon, just for a few days. It was a flash trip that I was not planning on taking. I'm not happy to be here. I'm just here for 3 days. Personal stuff and logistical stuff and family shit. Not happy about it. I go back tomorrow. And even though I'm in Portland, I'm still on Dubai time. So I literally go to bed at noon here and wake up at 8 p.m. here, and I work all night. I'm awake all night because I don't want any jet lag for this shit. So I have no jet lag. It's awesome. So I've traveled to the other side of the planet and I have zero jet lag. It just feels weird to be awake at, 3 o'clock in the morning and you're the only one working. It's pretty cool. All right, so I apologize about the email. That sucks. You guys are telling me it was the wrong time. God damn it. Okay, that's probably my fault. Probably my fault. Switched over from LinkedIn. Okay, so those of you on LinkedIn who can't see me, it might be because you're on an iPhone. If you're on a desktop, it might work. So just be aware of this. Or certainly you can switch platforms you want. We're on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. It's the first time I've done that. Don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years. I dated an Asian woman years ago, before Pink Firefly, who was very Asian, but she had a bunch of black girlfriends. And she would just assume the speech patterns of whoever she talked to, right? So she'd be talking, I'm not kidding. She'd be like, yes, I like to eat rice. I don't know. Oh, excuse me, my phone ringing one moment, my girlfriend. Yo, what's up, girl? How you doing? Yeah, I'm with my boyfriend, girl. He's a cracker ass. Yeah, I'm so sorry. I'm not kidding, she would do this. Then later she would get a bunch of white girlfriends. Toward the end of our relationship, she got a bunch of white girlfriends. She'd be like, are you serious? I'm like, what the hell? Oh, sorry, I talk like white girl now. All right. Whatevs. With China putting investments into South America, would Costa Rica be a good living flag with time zones? Yeah, Costa Rica's fine. I think Costa Rica's fine. You can see me on LinkedIn. All right, cool. Cool, I'm very happy to be on LinkedIn. Welcome, LinkedIners. I'll be doing a lot more stuff on LinkedIn soon. A lot more, because LinkedIn's a gold mine I haven't been playing with. Hardcore Red Pill Alpha 1.0. Yes, I don't think Fresh and Fit will like a lot of what I have to say, but we will agree on a lot too. I agree with most Red Pill stuff. It's some of it I disagree with. Red Pill is very good in terms of a diagnosis. It is very bad in terms of prognosis. They can tell you what's wrong and why it's wrong, and they're really good at that. And then that's about it. They can't tell you what to do about it. Not much. All right, should we get started? Let's see how we doing on here. Yeah, we've been going for 7 minutes. Wow, really? Damn. All right, I will get started. So, hang on a sec. Double check a few things here. All right, so let's get started. Let's just start with the content. That's why you're here. That's why I'm here. That's why we're all here. As I move around this shit on my desk here in this wonderful hotel. This wonderful hotel in Portland, Oregon. I want to shoot myself in the goddamn head. There's a bunch of forest fires here. You walk outside, it smells like burnt weed. It's great. It's wonderful. I'm so glad to be back. I leave tomorrow. Can't wait. Can't wait the fuck out of here. Most people in the modern era today do not know what freedom is. And that includes you Trump supporters and right-wingers and tradcons because you guys are the ones who think you know what freedom is. And you're like, well, we know what freedom is. It's the left-wingers, it's the woke left, those goddamn socialists. They don't know they also don't know what freedom is, but the vast majority of you also don't know. And I will see comments on my content regularly from both left and righters. So the left-wingers will say, well, we need these laws. We need to tell employers what to do because, otherwise there'll be slave labor like those people who work at Amazon. That tells me right there you don't understand what freedom is. Or on the Trump side, the more right-wing side, Caleb, if you're a minarchist libertarian, how could you possibly be for any restrictions regarding masks? How could you be for any restrictions whatsoever? A fundamental misunderstanding of what I know from questions like that, you don't know what freedom means. How could you possibly be for masks when masks don't work? I'll cover all that. But those kind of questions show me that you really don't know what it means. And I don't mean that to be an asshole, even though I kind of am an asshole a little bit. I mean this literally. And that's why I'm going to discuss this for the next few minutes. Now, there's a reason why most people don't know what freedom is. There are actually two reasons. One is society is run by the elites. I've talked about this before. The elites are the upper 10,000 to 25,000 people in the world who kind of run the world. And these people, do you think the elites want you to fully understand what freedom is and what it means? No. As George Carlin said a very long time ago, and he was right, the elites want you to be knowledgeable enough to operate the machinery and to fill out the paperwork, and that's it. Nothing more than that. It does not benefit them at all for you to fully understand what freedom actually is, because then you might want some. Okay? So it's to their benefit that you don't know these things, and or that you have a warped view of these things that you think you know. And trust me, I'm going to hit both sides of here. If you're a left-winger or a Trumper, and I say Trump supporter, I'll cover let's cover that really quick. First of all, before we go on. Caleb, I don't support Trump. There are two categories of human beings in the Western world today, particularly the United States, but this also somewhat applies to Canada, Western Europe, and things like that. You're either a left-winger or you are what I call a Trump supporter. And the reason I call it a Trump supporter is because there's no such thing as conservatives anymore. There's the small government traditional conservative does not exist anymore. There are tradcons, but those aren't traditional conservatives in the respect of small government. There is no small government ideology. But Caleb, what about libertarians? That is a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of 1%. I've said this before in other videos. Libertarians have no power in society, and I'm a libertarian, I'm a minarchist libertarian, we never will. So we're not even on the map. Yes, we exist, but that doesn't mean anything. And so I don't call it left or right because there is no right anymore. I used to call them like the former right. Nowadays I call them Trump supporters. Even if you don't support Trump, if you're on that category that I call Trump supporters, if you identify yourself as that, I know everything about you. So if you're a Trump supporter, I know how you feel about masks. I already know. You don't have to tell me. I know. I know how you feel about getting a jab. I already know, right? If you're a left-winger, I know how you feel about these things as well. It's really two groupings, okay? So I'm going to call them left-wingers and Trump supporters. And if you say, I don't support Trump, yes, but you support everything or 95 or 90% of the things that people who support Trump do, and that's why I call them Trump supporters, okay? And I apologize in advance if you didn't actually vote for Trump. And by the way, you can be a Trump supporter and not be an American. You can be a Canadian, you can live in the UK, you can be an Australian, you can be a German. I know a lot of Germans, not a lot, I know a few Germans who are Trump supporters. They can't vote for Trump, but that's the ideology they have. Okay, all right. Let's see. And if you guys have questions, go ahead and ask the questions you want, and I'll rewind them at the end. We'll do a full Q&A at the end. Cool. Okay. So that's the first reason you don't know. The second reason, and I've mentioned this before in my prior content, my blogs. I think I may have done a YouTube video about this years and years ago, one of my first videos, is that freedom is complex. Huh? Yes. So if you have the three political ideologies in the world, you have left liberalism or left wokeism, right? You have what used to be conservatism is now former rightism or Trumpism, okay? And then fraction 1%, us libertarians who everybody hates, okay? Those are the three categories. There is a reason why left liberalism, socialism, welfare statism is by far the most popular of those three, by far, and will continue to become more popular as the Western world continues to collapse. And the reason is, one of the big reasons is it's easy to understand. If you have a problem, government will pay for it. That's very easy to understand. You could be a moron and go, oh yeah, right? So most people go, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense. You have to explain that statement, even if you disagree with that statement. You have to explain it? No, you immediately understand it because it's very simple. And that's one of the reasons it's so popular, okay? Now let's go to the conservative, former right Trump supporter viewpoint, okay? Still pretty simple. Not as simple as left, but still pretty simple. So the Trump supporter would say things like, oh, Mexicans are taking your jobs, so we'll just build a wall and keep them out. And most people go, oh yeah, it's very simple, right? There are bad countries who might attack us someday, so we'll just drop bombs on them. Oh yeah, it's very easy to understand. Even if you disagree, it's very easy to understand, right? Not quite as easy as the left stuff. That's why left-wingers are more populist and more popular in a bigger group than right-wingers or former writers, right? Okay. So then you have us libertarians, and there's a reason libertarians like me, true, actual libertarians, I don't mean bullshit libertarians who say they're libertarians and vote for Trump, who is one of the biggest big government presidents, not only in American history, but in human history. And that is even before the pandemic. I'm not talking about them. I'm not talking about guys like Bill Maher, who call themselves libertarians, and they're huge, welfare statist left-wingers. I'm not talking about, I'm talking about real libertarians like me, minarchists or anarchists. I'm a minarchist, which to be clear means I believe you should have government, but you keep it as absolutely as small, local, and decentralized as you can for as long as you can. In my heart, I'm an anarchist, but the reason I'm not an anarchist in the real world is because I understand human beings. If God came down from heaven and waved a wand and eliminated all governments, the very next day at 8 a.m. the next day, humans would start forming governments again, because that's unfortunately what humans like. So my attitude is, if you want government, fine, keep it as small as you can for as long as you can. And I have massive, 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 massive amount of historical and economic data that prove that the middle class does best when you keep government as small as you can for as long as you can. The United States went from a bunch of farmers to a world power within 120 years. That has never happened before in all of human history because it kept government as small as it could for as long as it could. Hong Kong went from a rock with no resources, no strategic value, not really, nothing really going for it, a rock with a few boats and farmers on it, to the #1 economy in the world by the 90s because it kept government as small as it could for as long as it could. I'm not going to go through all the details, but that's why I have those viewpoints. But the reason that viewpoint is not popular, one of the many reasons, is it's complicated. So the left winger says, if you have a problem, government will fix it. Okay. The right winger says, if there's a bad person, you kill them, or you drop a bomb on their head, or you build a wall. Okay. Very simple. Libertarian like me says something like, having minimum wage laws hurts poor people. And the average person goes, what? Huh? Right? By the way, what I just said is factual. Having a minimum wage law hurts poor people. Poor people would do better if there was no minimum wage. Now, most of you said, what? That doesn't make any sense. You're an idiot. Right? So in order to explain that, the libertarian now has to give a 3-minute economic dissertation on macroeconomics to explain why that's true. And that assumes two things. Number one, it assumes that that person he's lecturing will understand what he's saying. And most people read it at 6th grade level. It's getting worse and worse. I have a video coming up showing why the Western world's collapsing. I have like 20, 30 statistics on these things. And one of them is people in the Western world, their average IQ drops by 10 points per something. They're getting dumber and dumber and dumber. So first he has to understand what you're saying. Then even more importantly, he has to believe what you're saying. It's like, he'll go, oh yeah, that's right, that's not true. That's bullshit. Right? Now, the right winger, the Trump supporter, doesn't have to do that kind of explaining. And the left winger certainly doesn't have to explain anything. But us libertarians have to explain because it's more complicated. So you have a lot of things going for you. Oh, the third thing is also things like human nature. We're collectivists, right? And freedom is kind of non-collectivist in a way, right? So you have human nature going against some of this as well. So it's not a surprise why most of you don't understand what freedom actually is. So let's cover what you think freedom is. And I will cover the left and I will cover Trumpers. Okay? So let's cover what the left winger, the typical left winger, this is their view on freedom. And I've had many, 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 many conversations, both in real life and on the internet with left wingers. I grew up in the Pacific Northwest here in Portland, Oregon. And so that's where they all live. And here is the bottom line view if you're a left winger on freedom. The bottom line view in every conversation about freedom will eventually dissolve to this bottom line point. And that is this. This is the viewpoint of the left. You can't have freedom, Caleb, or libertarian or person. You can't have that because if you have that kind of freedom, the world will be run by people like Jeff Bezos. And Jeff Bezos is evil. So we can't have Jeff Bezos running the world. Now, Barack Obama is not evil, okay? Or Bernie Sanders or Hillary Clinton. They're not evil or not as evil. So what you have to do is you have to have the world run by people like Bernie Sanders, Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, so that the world isn't run by people like Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk. That's the view, the bottom line view in terms of their definition of freedom. It's completely wrong, but that's their view, okay? So that's the left-wing view of freedom. What's the Trump supporter view on freedom? Trump supporter view on freedom goes something like this, and it's been like this pre-Trump. It was like this with Bush. George W. Bush was like this in the 90s under Newt Gingrich and those guys, and that is this. If the government spends trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars on the military, well, that's fine. If Donald Trump, passes a spending bill of $1.8 trillion pre-pandemic, well, that's fine. That's fine. So what? If Donald Trump bombs Syria for no reason, well, that's fine. Who cares? If Donald Trump, which he did, if Donald Trump raises the national debt deficit by world record standards pre-pandemic, well, that's fine. So what? If Donald Trump makes divorced men who pay alimony, they can't deduct that off their taxes anymore, well, that's fine. Who cares? That's fine. But if you make me wear a mask, hey, man, fuck you, man. freedom, man. You make me want to get a jab? Fuck you, man. Freedom, 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 freedom. Okay. So that's the view of the Trump supporter view on freedom. Again, a completely warped, fucked up view of freedom. And so it's different than the left winger. But this is where you get questions like, how could you possibly be for any restrictions regarding wearing masks? I'll use that as an example because that's a nice politically charged thing where everyone gets so pissed off about, right? Less now that the pandemic has kind of worn off, but still. And that's where you get things like, well, how could you possibly be for any mask mandates, for example, if you are a libertarian or if you're for real freedom? That doesn't make any sense. So let me attack that, not attack it. Let me explain that. So let me give you a hypothetical scenario. All right. You are going over to your friend's house. Okay. And your friend, for the purposes of this hypothetical scenario, your friend is 32 years old and very healthy, and he lives alone. These are all important. Okay. And he has a house, right? You go to his house, knock on the door, opens up. Hey, man. He's like, come on in. All right, cool. You walk in. He goes, whoa, hey, wait. You're not wearing a mask. You say, what? Yeah, you're not wearing a mask. If you want to come in my house, and by the way, he's wearing a mask. You want to come in my house, you have to wear a mask. You're like, what? Yeah, man, you got to wear a mask. Okay, I am not going to get the cerveza sickness. Okay, you're threatening my health. You are threatening my health because you're not wearing a mask. Okay, so I don't want you threatening my health. Now, he says it's important. You don't have to wear a mask outside. I don't care. If you go to someone else's house or someone else's building, I don't care if you wear a mask. That's your business. But if you in my house, you got to wear a mask. Now he says, I'll make this even sweeter for you Trump guys. You'll love this. He says, matter of fact, I have some masks right here. I'll give you a cloth mask. Would you like a cloth mask? Because they're more comfortable. They're like more fresh in your face. And so I'll give you a cloth. You can wear a cloth mask because that'll protect me. So you need to wear a cloth mask or else you can't come in my house. Okay? Now, you respond like the typical Trump supporter. You go, what the fuck? You can't make me wear a mask. Fuck you, freedom, MAGA. And you point to your MAGA hat. That's bullshit. Don't you understand that cloth masks don't work? Haven't you looked at the science, you fucking moron? How dare you try to make me wear a fucking cloth mask in your house? MAGA, make America great again. Okay, right? So you have your psycho friend and you psycho, okay? You have two psychos. They're both psychos. As a minarchist libertarian with a true understanding of freedom, I'm not saying that to brag, but it's true. Whose side do you think I'm on? Your friend's side or your side? Just think in your head. You don't have to put it in the comments if you don't want to. Just think this through. Whose side? Because I'm on someone's side. Someone's right here. Someone's wrong. Whose side am I on? I'm on your friend's side. What? Now, if you just went, what? You don't understand freedom. I'm happy to explain this to you. In this scenario, I'm on your friend's side and you are in the wrong. Why? Because it's your friend's house. It's his house. Freedom is not about philosophy. Freedom is not about science. Masks don't work. It's not about that. It's about, or at least a component of it, is property rights. It's his house. It's his property. It is not your house. It is not society's house. It is, in a way, not government's house. Now, yes, you could make the argument that you rent everything from the government. You don't truly own anything. That is correct. But for the purposes of this scenario, let's not go there. It's his house. So because it's his house, he has every right to say, if you want to come into my house, you have to wear a cloth mask. Otherwise, you are threatening my health because of the cerveza sickness as a healthy 31-year-old man. And it doesn't matter if cloth masks don't work. It doesn't matter if he is statistically not going to get killed by cerveza. It doesn't matter if he's not living with an elderly parent or something. None of that shit matters. It's his house. And so as a person who respects freedom, your answer, there's only two valid responses to him if he says that to you. Okay. And I've been in scenarios like this. I'll give you some scenarios in a second. There's only two valid answers. Answer one is, okay, Joe, you're being a little silly, but all right, I'll wear a mask. Give me that cloth mask and I'll put it. It's not going to protect you against shit. There's no danger here, but all right, cool. It's your house, your rules. Fine, no problem. And you put on your cloth mask and you go inside. Okay. Or the second good answer would be, I'm not wearing a mask. I don't like wearing masks. I just think it's silly. So why don't you come out, since you said you don't mind wearing masks outside, not wearing masks, why don't you come out here and let's sit on the porch and let's talk. Or let's go to someone else's house and let's talk. Then you don't have to wear a mask. I don't have to wear a mask. Okay? That's the correct answer. But if you lose your shit about how dare he do this to me, you don't understand freedom. Let me give you some real examples about that. Let's see. I could give you so many. So when the pandemic first hit the United States, okay, the very first time Pink Firefly, I was with Pink Firefly at the moment. That's my wife. You know who that is. We were out shopping for groceries or something. It was our day off. And we went to Costco. I remember this now. We went to Costco, okay? And this is before the state mandates came down for like wearing masks and social distancing and all that crap, right? And we parked, we walked up to Costco. Now, if you don't know what Costco is, if you're not an American, it's a very gigantic, big box store, okay? We drive up to, we walk up to Costco, and there's a line outside the building. And we're like, well, that's weird, because again, this is all new. This hadn't happened yet. Well, that's strange. Why is there a line? And we walk up, and sure enough, we find they're only letting in a certain amount of people because of the pandemic. Now, by the way, speaking of cloth masks not working, based on the data that I've looked at, social distancing didn't work at all. That was a complete waste of time. All those circles on the ground and the data I looked at, social distancing didn't work at all. Some masks did help, some didn't. I'll cover that in a little bit later. It's not like masks don't work. That's also not true. But according to what I've seen anyway, social distancing didn't work at all. But anyway, they're doing their social distancing. They don't allow a certain amount of people. So whenever someone left just a gigantic building, they let 2 more people in, right? So we're all lined up. We get to the front line, and we walk in. They go, oh, wait, you need to wear a mask. And my lovely wife, who is not as outcome independent as me and doesn't have the emotional control that I have, didn't react well. She's like, what the hell? It's going to mess up my makeup, and this is so stupid, and oh my God. And she was pissed. And I, understanding freedom, I turned to her and I said, because I walk my talk on these things, I've been very consistent about this for many decades. I said, you know what, this is kind of dumb, but it's their store, it's their business, it's their property. We can tell them to fuck off, and we can go to Sam's Club or Safeway or any one of these other grocery stores. We don't have to go here. That's freedom. That's the way it works. And again, I want to repeat, this is before the government mandated this stuff. All right? Now, let me describe that really quick. If the government makes you wear a mask or whatever for a pandemic where there is a 1% death rate, now I step over the line. That's there where I'm on your friend's side, I'm against you. I cross the line, and now I'm on the Trump side. Hell no. That's not freedom. You can't mandate to businesses how they run their business. That's their business, especially if you're dealing with a disease with a 1% death rate. Okay? So no, now I'm completely opposed to that because I'm a minarchist libertarian who believes in actual freedom. So you cannot have some third party overviewing the world saying you must do this. Now, where the left-wingers may have a point, but they didn't in the last pandemic, what if the death rate was 30%? Because their argument, the left's argument during the pandemic was, I saw this several times, we have to make you wear a mask, we have to make you get a jab because you are threatening my health. So we have to make you do this. That's valid. That's a valid argument if the death rate was like 30%. We're talking about Black Plague, Spanish flu stuff. You can make that argument. And I, as a libertarian, have a difficult time saying, saying, no, you can't make me wear a mask or you make me stay home. And I would be hard to do that. Okay. If it was by 1%, no, that's within 2% rule. And where is the line drawn? I don't know. Let me give you another example. During the pandemic, there was a grocery store near our home at the time. And they had this thing, they did this completely voluntarily. The government did not make them do this. And that's the key point here. They enacted a policy where when they opened the store at 6 a.m. or whatever, they had some signs up. They said from 6 a.m. to, I don't remember, 10:30 a.m., no one in the store under the age of 65 is allowed in the store. Only old people are allowed to come in. This is when we realized it was hitting old people. Okay, old people were dying. Only old people are allowed in the store. If you're under the age of 65, we're gonna check your ID. We're gonna have to turn you away. Let the old people get their stuff in safety, wearing their masks and all that shit. Okay. Let them go home, and then at 10:30, anyone can come. And they even said at 10:30, we would discourage, you can still come, but we would discourage you if you're over the age of 65 from coming in because we want to protect you. I was for that. I thought that was a great idea, and I still do. That's a very good idea, and that is perfectly within their rights because it's their store. If you go, how dare they don't let me shop when you don't understand freedom. You think you do, but you don't. Okay? I thought that was very prudent. This is why I can be a minarchist libertarian who believes in real freedom and be for certain restrictions. Restrictions enacted at the property level for the individual business owner or the individual homeowner. Because that's how property rights works. And it has nothing to do with science about, well, cloth masks don't work. Let me cover that really quick. Give you different scenarios. Same exact scenarios before. You go to your friend's house. You're not going to already walk in. Now, it's not, forget about masks. He says he's not wearing a mask. You walk, he goes, wait a second. You didn't pray to the god Wiggle-Wongle. You go, what? Yes, I worship the god Wiggle-Wongle. He's made out of spaghetti, okay? And he watches over this home, and he's not making a joke. He's serious. He watches over this home. He watches over me. I pray to him, and every time I come to this house, I bow and I kneel and I say, praise Wiggle-Wongle. And so you need to do that if you're going to come in my house, okay? I don't care if you don't do it outside. That's your business. But if you come in my house, you got to kneel down and go, praise be to Wiggle-Wongle. And if you don't, I can't let you in my house. Sorry. And if you go, God damn, you have no right to make me kneel at freedom and MAGA. No. You say, all right, I'll do it. Stupid, but I'll do it. Or I'd rather not. Let's come outside. Because it's his house. It has nothing to do with whether or not there's a god called Wiggle-Wongle. It has nothing to do with science or what works or math. It has to do with property rights. Make sense? Okay. 1 second. I had a scenario during the pandemic where this was last Thanksgiving. Last year, okay? Was it last year or the year before? I forget. I don't really care. My family, some of you know this, my family is mostly left-wingers. I grew up in Portland, Oregon, okay? So as you might imagine, my dad has 6 children. I'm one of 6. So both my parents and 4 of my 5 siblings are not only left-wingers, they are extreme left-wingers. Bernie Sanders, Obama was a god, left-wingers, hardcore leftists, okay? Then there's me, minarchist libertarian. Then there's one of my brothers who grew up in a different part of the country and is a hardcore Donald Trump supporter, wearing the MAGA hat, talking about Trump on Facebook, worshiping Trump, loving everything he does. Okay. So my dad sent out an email to everyone, and he called everyone and said, hey, we're going to have Thanksgiving in our house. We'd like all to come. However, we'd like you to be vaccinated. We'd like you to have a jab. I didn't say that word, YouTube. Can I rewind this live stream and delete that? Just kidding. We would like everyone to have a jab. And we'd like everyone to wear, did they ask about masks? No, just jab. We'd like everyone to get a jab because we have children here and children are at risk, which of course they weren't. And so my entire left-wing family all said, yes, 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 you should all have a jab. I have a jab, therefore everyone should have a jab. Yes, yes, yes. My brother, God love my brother, love him to death. My brother, my Trump supporting brother, lost his shit and wrote this email that was like 4 pages long, screaming his head off about how horrible my dad was and how horrible my family was. How fucking dare you? It's my body, freedom, freedom, freedom. And just screaming and yelling, which is what Trump supporters did during the pandemic. I mean, left-wingers did too. Like I said, America and the Western world are controlled by 2 groups of psychopaths, Trump supporters and left-wingers. Fuck you, freedom, and this is my if it was abortion, you wouldn't have. And it damaged his relationship with the rest of my family. It was a problem. How did I handle it? Like I just said. So I said in a conversation with my dad and one of my sisters on the phone and in an email, hey, I think that's great that mom and dad are jabbed because they're in their 80s, and I think that's important. You old people need to get jabbed. Yes, yes, yes. I'm glad that happened. Wonderful. I am not in the high-risk category. I don't want to get a jab for me. Okay, and my wife, Pink Firefly, doesn't either. She's not a jab person either. So we don't want to get it. So me and Pink Firefly are not jabbed. We're not going to get a jab. If that's a deal breaker for us not coming to your home, completely understand. If you want to just get over it and let us in, because I recently had cerveza sickness. I talked about YouTube. I talked on a YouTube channel. So I had the antibodies, and likely she had it. We weren't sure, but maybe. So I said, well, we probably have but if that's not good enough, it's your house. Completely understand. No hard feelings. That's how freedom works. Okay, that's it. let's talk about really quick, because I know I'm gonna get questions about this or comments about this, about masks don't work. How can you possibly for masks when masks don't work? Okay. As always, you look at objectivity and rationality and the data, and then you make decisions from there. You don't make your decisions from your heart and your emotions and spew them into the world. That's what both left-wingers and Trump supporters do, and that's not a good idea. So instead, you look at the data. So the data that I have looked at, and I'm not an expert, I don't know, but I've read a lot of data about this. I mentioned earlier the data that I looked at showed that social distancing didn't work. It showed that some masks did help. N95 masks, when you wore an N95 mask, did help slow the spread of that particular disease. Surgical masks helped also, not as well as N95 because you can go around the corners. Those did help. Cloth masks did not help. So when you say masks don't work, it's not true. Maybe specific cloth masks, I agree, don't work. That really didn't help. But the other masks did. So there you go. Social distancing looks like it didn't. Yeah. What else do I want to say about that? I'm forgetting something that I wanted to address. Let me see here. While I'm thinking, you could write more questions in the comments. I'll get your questions in a second. Shit, what was the other thing? I didn't write my notes. Damn, there was something else I wanted to address in this regarding freedom. I don't remember. I guess we'll just move on. Maybe if it comes to me later, I'll pause the questions and we can talk about that. How are we doing on time? How long have I gone? 36 minutes? Well, -7, right? So I've been talking for 30 minutes. Well, that's fucking good enough. Let's go to the questions then. Great. All right, let's go to the questions. And I'm going to rewind it up here and go back to the questions I did not cover when I was talking and yammering. Someone said the F word. Don't say fuck. Just kidding. But I got to find where I was here. Do you have have you done a long form speech on OBW? Might clear the fog out from you and modern red pill interpretations. That's a good idea for a YouTube video. It's a very good idea. Very good idea, actually. OBW means, if you don't know from my Alpha 2.0 content, is obsolete biological wiring. That is that thing that used to make sense when you were cavemen. So when you were a caveman, it made sense to be very jealous about what if someone hooks up with the girl that you like, because there were only 5 girls in the tribe. Now women outnumber men, and there's millions, and there's hundreds of thousands in your city you probably would have sex with. So what is the point of jealousy? Especially, well, what about my children? I want to make sure my children are mine. Same thing, that's OBW. They have things called DNA tests. You can actually get the baby checked before it comes out of the body and to see if it's yours. This is not Little House on the Prairie. It's not 1950s. Anyway, so that's a good idea. I am neither a Trumper or left-winger. I personally self-define as an American exceptionalist or anti-neoconservative. That sounds very complicated to me. I'm a minarchist libertarian. I did just say libertarian. I have to throw minarchist in there because people go, libertarians are anarchists. Well, in my heart I am. I explained it earlier. Do you think Europe is headed into a police state? Seems a more intrusive place. No, not a police state, but more intrusive, absolutely. And I try not to. The Europeans have a point. I try not to generalize about Europe. Caleb, you can't say Europe because there's 55 countries in Europe. Rawr! That's true. Good point. So I'm trying not to say Europe is. So I usually say like Scandinavia is, or Western Europe is, or Eastern Europe is, or the Caucasus are. Yo, I'm awesome. What do you think will be the conclusion of Russia and the Ukraine conflict? I don't know. Ukraine can't win in a conventional sense, but they can cause a lot of trouble for Russia before they lose. It's similar to Vietnam and America, right? Did Vietnam win? No, but boy, did they cause America a lot of problems. And it is fascinating that Putin is who before this was reasonably intelligent, has miscalculated this on about 5 or 6 different levels. It is fascinating to me that Putin and President Xi of China, okay, both these guys, before about 3 years ago, were very smart. They did a lot of things I didn't like. They were evil fuckers, but they were very intelligent in their authoritarianism, and they've both just lost their minds. And some of it is because I know for a fact that both with Putin and Xi, you're not allowed to give him any bad news, so he's getting all this incorrect information. Because you give him bad news, he'll have you killed. Xi will, or fired or what have you. So everyone's like, oh, we're doing great. No matter what. Yes, don't kill me. That's a terrible way to run a country. I don't care how alpha you think you are. It's stupid. You want to hear the bad news. One of the core business techniques that I follow, you guys who own Alpha 2.0 business, you should follow this. If you have a staff like I do, you want to hear bad news first before anyone else hears it. You want to hear bad news. I've told this to my staff numerous times. If there's bad news, I want to hear it. Please don't hide it from me. I want to hear the bad news because then we can course correct. So if you never hear any bad news, you're going to fuck all this up. And that's my assumption is what's going on with both Putin and Xi, I guess. Why am I on estrogen blockers? Because I'm on TRT, and when I first went on TRT, my estrogen spiked to my estradiol spiked to over 45, and I started acting like a girl. That's why. I'm slowly tapering off those. I take a half of an one. I forget what the measurements are. I have them around here somewhere. The pill is this big. I take half of one of those every other week. So I barely take them, but I do take them. And eventually, I don't want to take any. But it depends. I'll have to wash my estradiol and see if it spikes. If it spikes, I got to take them again. I'm on TRT. Have you heard about the new program Chile has? It's a retirement visa. You just need to show 3 to 4K of passive income and need to visit the country for 2 years to get a passport, 4 to 6 years. No, I have not heard of that yet. However, the problem with those kinds of programs is if they ever say you can get a passport in 4 years, 3 years, 6 years, 5 years, the laws will change by then. It's happened in Paraguay, happened in Panama, happens all over the place. The laws change. So you'd be hoping for your passport, and suddenly the Supreme Court, stamps a form, and now you can't get that passport anymore. Right? So all your work went down the drain. So I tend to focus on more guaranteed passport paths, either CBI or something more solid than maybe in 4 years you can apply someday, that kind of stuff. But it doesn't mean you shouldn't try it if you like Chile. Go for it. I find that men like and seek freedom more than women. Why is this the case? Let's try to keep the questions non-woman stuff. Let's try to keep that on the other channel. I didn't say that earlier, but I'll answer this real question. But let's try to keep the woman stuff to the Alpha 2.0. I promise I will do a Alpha 2.0 live stream in the next week or two. If I had more time here, I would do another one now, but I don't have time. Because women are more agreeable, therefore they want peace and harmony. Men have less of a need for that kind of thing in terms of disruption. We could go a whole thing like Jordan Peterson's talked about this. As the West collapses, will testosterone levels go down even more? Correct, it already has. Do you reckon the average levels will be in the hundreds 20 years from now? It could. I don't know if the average levels for men in their 20s are in 200s now, but a lot of them. A lot of men in their 20s, Gen Zers, and their total T is like 250, 220. It's awful. I've never seen it before. And yeah, it's going to get worse. Mm-hmm. As the collapse continues, men will be turned into more like women. Women will turn into more like men. Get ready. You think it's bad now? You have no idea what's coming. You think Jordan Peterson's crying about incels now? Boy, Jordan, you have no idea what's coming, bro. Holy shit. Are you kidding? God damn. Death rate was way lower than 1%. 1% is all the people who are tested positive, not all who are infected. Possibly. That could be a high number. You're right. Absolutely. It's hard to know. But yeah. Yep. When the West collapses, will travel be restricted if you live in the West? Yes. It depends on what country and where you are in the scenarios, but international travel will get more and more difficult as the West continues to collapse in many, not all, Western countries. That's why I keep saying if Five Flags is something you have interest in, you need to start now because it gets harder every year. And I mean that literally every year that goes by, this stuff gets more difficult. I've talked about this in my coaching programs. I've told those guys that soon Five Flags, as I describe it, having multiple residencies and place like that, within a few years, and that could be 10 years, 20 years, I don't know how many years, will only be available to very wealthy men. It'll be so difficult, it'll cost millions of dollars. So you better do it now while it doesn't cost millions of dollars, because it was a lot easier 10 years ago. I should have done this 10 years ago. I know why I didn't do it 10 years ago, but I should have, because it was a lot easier 10 years ago. Oh, it's harder now. Haven't you read the Pfizer documents? I have not. Look at all the people dropping left and right from mysterious heart attacks. I have no idea what you're talking about, but the question is it part of the 2% rule? I remember you saying you should live outside of Bangkok if you get residence in Thailand. Why is this? Because it's cheaper. Bangkok is not nearly as cheap as it used to be. but outside of Bangkok, it's still very cheap in terms of lifestyle costs. So if your objective is low lifestyle costs, Thailand outside of Bangkok is your best bet in terms of Thailand. That's why. Even though the Tate brothers are literally the same, Andrew Tate seems more extreme. Alpha 2.0's younger brother Tristan is more of a mild one. Would that be accurate? I guess. I don't consume a lot of their content. I really don't know. You wrote in your blog you don't agree 100% with everything David Allen says in his time management book about getting things done. Correct. What do you disagree with him about? David Allen doesn't prioritize things. He's not good at that. He doesn't really focus on prioritization, and that is a huge part of time management. You can feel very busy and get very little done. That's why I talk about SW versus IW, and the focus should be IW. You can be consumed with SW. You can work 100-hour weeks doing SW and not make any money. You can feel really busy and feel really productive and have these giant to-do lists. You got all this stuff done, and people will say, wow, you're such a hard worker, and not make shit for money. And I know people like this. I know employees like this. I know business owners like this. They bust their ass, but they don't prioritize. They don't categorize. They just stay really busy and they work really hard. And I make way more money than them, even though I work less hours per week than they do. So that's one of the challenges daily. Other than that, now that's his only major problem. He's still amazing. I still recommend his book. So Getting Things Done, David Allen, good time management book in terms of certain aspects of time management. So yeah. Yep. There's no quicker way to lose your freedom than getting yourself enslaved to the medical system. That's what I wanted to talk about. Oh my God, I'm so happy. I'm so happy you wrote that. Thank you, Man Medicine. Thank you. This is what I wanted to talk about, okay? 2 true stories from 25 years ago. In terms of, I'm so happy that I remember these things. I really should have said this at the beginning of this webinar. It's not a webinar, it's a live stream. Beginning of this live stream. Freedom decreases every year. I just said 5 flags gets more difficult every year. Freedom decreases every year. What is the second law of thermodynamics? You guys went to college because I ain't never got one of them things. I didn't go to college because I'm dumb. So you smart guys went to college. What is the second law of thermodynamics, right? The second law of thermodynamics, you should know, is entropy exists over time. Over time, things break down, okay? That's true with freedom. Every year that passes, you will have less freedom if you live in a Western country. I don't live in a Western country. Every year that passes in my country, they get more free because they started out as very unfree. Well, I guess down here. They started out low on the freedom index, and now they're slowly cranking it up because they want to make more moolah, and they're a smaller country, so they can do that. So every year, my country removes laws. Every year, your Western country adds more restrictions. So I will give you 2 real-life examples. These are things that happened to me 20, 25 years ago when I was a young man, in my 20s. The first one was in the late 1990s. I don't remember when this was. I want to say 97-ish. I was in a seminar with Dan Kennedy. Many of you know who that is, okay? And he was taught, his topic was why you will need to be wealthy in the future. He said, right now in the 90s, being wealthy is cool. It's fun. It's good, but it's not mandatory. You don't have to be wealthy. He goes, in the future, you will have to make a lot of money. You'll have a choice or it's going to be fucked. That was what I'm not saying that. He was saying that. And he gave all these different subtopics of why you needed to do this. And he came up with eventually got the topic of healthcare. Okay. And he said this in 1997. He said, in America, in our lifetimes, at some point in the future, there will be 2 types of Americans. Okay. In terms of healthcare, right? The first type of American will be, in terms of healthcare, the person who pays for what they want and they get it. So they'll pay for the healthcare they want and they will get it. Okay, that'll be the first type. The second category are people who will wait in a bread line. Not just a line, a bread line like in communist Russia. They will wait and wait and wait. And while they wait, it'll be a nightmare. They will have to fight doctors. They will have to fight hospitals. They will have to fight insurance companies. They will have to fight the government. They'll have to fight the Social Security Department. They will fight and fight and fight and fight and fight and fight and fight to get their free shitty healthcare. He said that in 1997. So that was what, 25, 26 years ago? Was he right? Yeah. Now, you could argue maybe not 100% correct. We're not 100% there in the United States, but goddamn, we're close. 70% there, 80% there, or we are 100% there. Depends on your opinion. He was right. Now, let me give you another story that's even more chilling. And this one Some of you may not believe this, but this is true. I'm telling you the truth. This is literally what happened. Several weeks, this is around late 2001, several weeks or months, I don't remember the exact date, after the event where people flew airplanes into a building, some buildings in New York. I can't say the name. It starts with the number 9 because YouTube hates free speech. So I can't say what it is, but that event, okay? During that event, if you guys remember, those who are old enough to remember, they actually shut down the airlines for a week or two. You couldn't fly anywhere for about a week. And then when they kicked them back on, this was several weeks after this, okay? And I was in a workshop with one of my big mentors, Brian Tracy. Some of you know who that is. One of the biggest mentors of my early life. Big reason I'm here today. And unfortunately, Brian Tracy was, I don't know what he is now. I haven't talked to him in a long time. He's an old man now, but he was very Republican. And Brian Tracy, if you didn't know, was a famous business author, business consultant, business guru. He was also did a lot of consulting for like Fortune 500 companies, billionaires, and the Pentagon, the U.S. military. And he had just come back from several meetings at the Pentagon where he was consulting. And they told him some things. And he was in the front of the room. He was just kind of shooting the shit about this. And the news was going into the American military going into Afghanistan after the event of the airplanes in New York. Okay. And he just says it really casually. He goes, actually, we're going into Iraq. We're going to invade Iraq. And everyone in the room was like, Iraq? What? What does that got to do with this? He goes, I can't tell you why. I'm not even supposed to know this, but I'm telling you, we're going into Iraq. We're not like going to drop some bombs. We're going in. We're sending in the military and we're fucking going in. And he was a Republican, so he was saying it kind of with a smile on his face. He was happy about it. Okay. One of the things I didn't like about Brian. But anyway, he's like, we're going in. And he said, it does not matter what happens between now and then. It doesn't matter what happens. It doesn't matter what we find out. It doesn't matter what the CIA reports or doesn't report. It doesn't matter what the Democrats do or say. It doesn't matter this, that. We're going in. The decision was made a very long time ago, and now we're going in. And of course, within that very next year, the Iraq War began. Okay? True story. I knew about this before other people did. At least a lot of other people. Because he was talking to the people at the Pentagon, and the plans are already there, and yeah. My point is that freedom will decrease over time, and it doesn't fucking matter who you vote for, Trump supporters. Is America more or less free now after 4 years of Trump? Well, you can't blame that. It's a pandemic. Okay. When March of 2020, was America's government spending more or less money after 2 years of Trump? Way more. I did a whole postmortem on Trump's presidency. Go watch that video. Okay. So if you're looking for external solutions, that's not going to help. You're going to get less free every year, every year, every year, every year. I don't like to live in a country that gets less free every year. That's why I don't live in the United States anymore. I like to live in a little country that gets more free every year, like Paraguay, like the UAE. Those are my two countries. These are little tiny countries that used to have a lot of problems that are both becoming more free as time goes on. That's what they have in common. They have nothing else in common. They're almost opposites, which is kind of why I like it that way. But anyway, so thank you for that question. Thank you for reminding me the examples I wanted to give. All right. Going back to the questions, I got to find where the fuck I was. Let me take this opportunity to drink my estrogen-filled water. It's smart water. See this? This is what I tell my children when they were little. This is called marketing. This isn't smart at all. But it looks good. They can charge an extra $2 for this bottle because it says the word smart on it as a blue circle. Genius. 2 women, one, okay, no women questions, sorry. When I do the live stream on the Alpha 2.0, ask me women questions. Hey, Caleb, why do people prefer being employees to starting their own business? Because they perceive they don't know how to start their own business, and or they perceive it as more risky. Right now, the 90-day Business Builder program is open for enrollment. 90-day Biz Builder, B-I-Z, builder.com. Go there right now and schedule. If you have any interest, check it out and schedule your phone call, your consultation call to see if the program is for you. The enrollment ends November 7th. Thank you for that question. This is the most successful program I have ever given to the public, and I mean that on multiple levels. I'm about to show you some charts and graphs of the satisfaction rate and the success rate of guys in the program with some testimonial videos. You want to join this program if you want to start your own location independent business so you can escape your collapsing Western country. It's awesome. It's the most awesomest thing I've ever done to the public. I've done some awesome things privately in my consulting practice over the years. Pretty cool things. This is the best thing I've done in terms of public, and I mean that literally. I'm not kidding. That's not marketing. It's literal, empirically true. So, but that's why. I see some women questions. I have to skip those. In terms of friendship, why do you get along better with alpha male 1.0s, or who do you get along with better, alpha 1.0s or beta males? I prefer alpha 1.0s because beta males are everybody, and I'm just kind of like, I'm over it. But I have lots of beta male friends, lots of them. I just prefer alphas. What are signs that a man may have higher than normal levels of estrogen? Let's cover that again on the alpha 2.0 side. I apologize. Let's try to keep our questions to international stuff, business stuff, and any other topics you want to ask me. Like you want to talk about, guys want to talk about fucking Rings of Power and the new horrible Lord of the Rings show, or everyone wants to talk about She-Hulk. I'll answer those questions. That's fine. I lasted 6 minutes watching that fucking Lord of the Rings show. I'm like, this is going to be bad, but I'll give it a shot. I want to open mine. 6 minutes. 6 minutes. As soon as the little kids start throwing rocks at the boat, I'm like, those aren't elves. Those are maybe Dungeons and Dragons elves. Those aren't Lord of the Rings elves. They're angelic, and those are humans. And then Galadriel, a little girl, gets on there and like beats it like this. I'm like, and then that stupid speech from her brother, which didn't make any sense. I'm like, goodbye, done. Very sad. Hollywood has systematically gone through everything from my childhood to the 80s and destroyed it. I mean, you go just down the list. Star Wars, Star Trek, Doctor Who, Terminator, Predator, RoboCop. I mean, just go to Lord of the Rings. I mean, it goes down. He-Man. It just goes through the list. What's the next thing from Kayla's childhood from the we can destroy? The only thing they haven't destroyed from my childhood is Tron, because Tron Legacy was good. Although that was over 10 years ago. That was a long time ago. And Dark Crystal. That Dark Crystal series on Netflix was actually very good. I was shocked. It's great. Other than those two properties, everything else from my childhood, they've just destroyed. Indiana Jones, they've just destroyed everything. At least I grew up in that era. I've got to consider myself lucky. Can you move to another country where it's cheaper without an independent location and business? If yes, how can you make money? You have to get a job in that country or get a remote job, both of which I do not recommend. What is your advice about starting a location-independent business on a very, very limited budget? I started this business, Sovereign CEO, which was an outgrowth of Alpha Male 2.0, which itself was the outgrowth of a dating business I did called Black Dragon, for $29. And that is a high six-figure income stream for me today. You don't need a lot of money. If you have less money, you have to work. So you have to pick something that is a free information drip, blogs, videos, or podcasts. Videos are the best. Podcasts second best. Blog is third best. This still works. And produce a lot of content, network a lot, get on Reddit, and you can market that way. That will work. It just takes longer. You can certainly do it. I did it. I've heard you use GDP numbers to show the world has infinite wealth. That's not exactly my argument, but world GDP per capita is only around 18K. What? So how is there infinite wealth in a world with a small per capita number? Oh, the per capita world GDP? That's not my argument. My argument is that GDP is not a valid number to look at whether or not a country has a healthy economy. That's my argument. And the reason for that is you can say, look at this country. They're doing great because their GDP is growing. Yeah, because they voted for someone like Donald Trump who went into power and increased government spending by trillions of dollars. Unfortunately, GDP, a component of GDP, is government spending. So what you need to do is look at some kind of number that is private sector only spending. And that'd be a much better indicator for economic growth and activity. That's not my argument is there's unlimited wealth. That's not my argument. What should the ideal investment amount to start an Alpha 2.0 location independent business? What is the initial monthly expense of the first 6 to 12 months? I can't answer specific questions like that because it depends on what you're doing, what you're selling, and how you're marketing. So here's the answer to the question. You can start, and we cover this in 90 Day Business Builder, 90daybizbuilder.com. Go on over there, take a new tab. You can watch the video over there if you want. You can start a business one of two ways. Either free, like I just talked about, free marketing, which costs you $0. You might spend $100, $200 setting up websites and stuff, and that's it. Or paid marketing, where you buy paid ads. Okay, and either one works. There's pros and cons to both. Paid ads, you're going to get money a lot faster, but it costs money. Free is free, but it's going to take longer, and you can do either one. How much money do I need to spend on ads, Caleb? As much as you can, as much as your budget allows. Once you know you have a valid sales process and you're in a valid niche, all of which we do in 90-Day Business Builder. We spend an entire fucking month, and we're expanding it in this iteration. It'll probably be 5 weeks helping you pick your niche and what to buy, what to sell, if you have no idea what to do. It's that important. So that's the answer. Good question. I want to get started my first flag. Good. Well, you already have a flag. Your first flag is wherever you are. That's your first flag. But anyway, I'm employed but currently working on building my Alpha 2.0 business on the side. What are your thoughts on starting my first flag while employed? Rule of 2. You only work on 2 improvement areas at once at the same time. Improvement areas, not work on more than 2 things, more than 2 areas of improvement. So if you're starting an Alpha 2.0 business, that's 1 area. Okay. If you're trying to lose weight, that's 2 areas. If you're trying to set your second flag, that's 3 areas. Oh, that's 3. You got to delete 1. Okay. Stop trying to lose weight or something. So if you're starting your Alpha 2.0 business and you're working on your first flag, that's it. That's good. No other new projects. You can't lose weight. You can't go to the gym and gain muscle mass. You can't improve your woman life, your dating life. Okay. You can't try to get a raise or promotion at work. Those are improvement areas. You can write them down as areas to tackle later, but you only focus on 2 at a time. That's fine. Alex Jones is calling for a nuclear war with Russia. You think that's accurate? So here's the thing about Alex Jones. I've said this before about him on my blogs. I did 2 or 3 articles about Alex Jones and Alex Jones supporters on my blogs about how they believe in like demonic possession and shit. You can go back on my blogs and look, okay? Which blog is this? It's the Caleb Jones blog. So calebjones.com, and you click blogs, and you can look up Alex Jones. I asked Alex Jones supporters, do you really believe, for real, that demonic possession exists? That demons can possess politicians like Hillary? Yes or no? Do you believe that they took, this is stuff that Alex Jones actually said, he wasn't making jokes. Do you believe they actually took fetuses and grind them up and put them in Coke bottles? Yes or no? Do you believe that Michelle Obama is a man? Yes or no? And a lot of the supporters are, yes, that's real. Well, yes, demons are real. Caleb, demons are real. If you took drugs, you'd understand that demons are real. Okay, so anyway, regarding Alex Jones, I said, I've been on the record as saying, I don't know if he's mentally ill or a really good actor. I didn't know. I know now, but I didn't know for years, up until just a few months ago. I didn't know. It could be either one. Either he's just fucked up, or he's just really good at being putting on a passionate character, because you can be that good. When I saw the footage from his trial, I don't know if you guys watched that or not, and I saw the things he was doing and saying, now I know he's mentally ill. He is deeply mentally ill. He's got real problems where he couldn't shut the fuck up and stop talking to the judge when the judge is like, no, take the gum out of your mouth. What do you mean take the gum? I mean, I'm like, oh my God, now I know he's mentally ill. Alex Jones is mentally ill. In my opinion, I got to add that so I get sued. In my opinion, Alex Jones is mentally ill. It's not a personal attack. That is a legitimate observation from what his behavior in those court proceedings. I don't think he's acting. I think he's got issues, and I think he needs to be in therapy or be on medication or something. I mean that literally. So if he says nuclear war with Russia, I wouldn't give it any credence, because I think he's mentally ill, in my opinion. Would you consider content creation as IW or SW? It is low quality IW. It is low quality IW. It is IW, but it's low quality. Oh, content creation. Sorry. Let me back that up. If it's free content creation, it is high quality SW. If it's content you're going to sell, it's low quality IW. Okay? That's the breakdown. Good question. Mexico seems like an exciting country. Mexico's great. I like it much more than I used to. It's great. But when you did an analysis of every region of the world a few years ago, you said it was a stagnating country. Correct, it is. You still recommend moving there? Yes. You can live in a stagnating flag as long as your location at minute income comes from outside the country. Stagnating is not collapsing, so it's fine. So Mexico's great. I wouldn't make money in Mexico. I wouldn't rely 100% of my income on sources within Mexico unless you're doing something very unusual. But no, it's perfectly fine. Are people screwed if they learn a trade in this period? That's a really good question. I wouldn't recommend it. You live in a collapsing civilization. That's not the time to learn how to, be a plumber. You're going to be location dependent. You're going to be stuck with the local economy, stuck with the local country. I wouldn't do it. So I don't know if you're screwed. That'd be a stronger statement, but I wouldn't recommend it to my children. I recommend my children do something that we know will make money over the next 30 years. And that's not tradesmanship. Do something where you'll be mobile over the next 30 years. That's not, learning how to be an electrician. I can't recommend you guys do anything location dependent. I just can't. Not in this era. If this was 1987, great, go for it. 1995, great. 1962, 1975, great. 2020s, right now, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. If the West collapsed, the world will be a Mad Max. How can your location dependent survive? If you watch my videos, that is not my prediction. I do not predict a Mad Max future. I do not predict a World War III. In none of my scenarios do I see that. Is it possible? Sure. But then all bets are off at that point. What difference does it make? If you're location independent or dependent, if it's Mad Max, what difference does it make? So it's not relevant to worry about that. Make sense? Like, what if the world gets what if the whole world gets destroyed in a nuclear fire in World War III? What's your location dependent income then? Well, then you'll be dead either way. What difference does it make? So don't worry about it. Proceed as if. That's what I do. And I can't talk. I don't predict that. None of my collapse scenarios turn any major country into Mad Max. Increased crime, yes. Increased civil unrest, like you're experiencing in the United States right now, yes. Increased authoritarianism, yes. Increased wars in Europe, yes. Putin's not done, folks. He's not done. You think he's just going to stop with Ukraine? No. And God knows what China will do as they continue to have more problems. So yeah, but nuclear fire, the world covered with nuclear wasteland and Mad Max, no. The information is basically free. Information is basically free. How can one make money selling information if all you need is one Google search away? Two answers to that question. Number one is it's because you've packaged the information in one tight little package, in one tight little book or tight little course. So you say you can buy my course for $500 and it's all right there, or you can spend 47 hours of your time Googling around for the information. Which one would you rather do? I know which one I'd rather do. I'd rather pay the $500 in a fucking heartbeat. Number one. Number two, niche. Niched information is much harder to find. You may not even find it. So if you niche, not time management, but time management for chiropractors. Where are you going to Google that information? Maybe it's out there. Good luck finding it. Those are your answers. Good question. Healthcare in Western Europe is even worse. They blow high cholesterol out of proportion. In the USA, they say keep it below 200 nanograms per deciliter. In England, it's more like 120 or less, which is stupid. We could do a whole thing on cholesterol, but yeah. I don't know. Were you in the SMIC thing I just did? I can't tell because names are different. Cholesterol only matters if you have carbs. That's what I just talked about in a live stream I just did from the SMIC program. High cholesterol is only a danger if you eat donuts and pizza and bread and stuff. If you are on a ketogenic diet, your cholesterol can be as high as you want. You'll be perfectly healthy. Your arteries will be nice and clean. It's not just high cholesterol. It's high cholesterol plus other factors. In the book, The Millionaire Next Door, Thomas Stanley said that the majority of millionaires, like over 90%, are married. Do you find that statistic to be true? It's not as true as it used to be. That's a very dated book now. That was 25 years ago. Less people are getting married now. So no, it's not true anymore. But I would still say the majority, yes. Yes, majority are true. I mean, I'm married and I'm one of those things. So, but so I guess I proved my own statistic, right? I'm married and I'm that. So, yeah. Hi, Caleb. You did a webinar about Alchemy Independence a few weeks ago. Can I buy this webinar? So I am very bad. My staff, Jeff on my staff, has been on my ass, and that's his job, to send out the email to announce that you can buy that. So if you're on my mailing list, which you should be because you're going to get the free Business Builder Challenge, you get 9 training videos starting this Friday. So go to calebjones.com and click the Location Independence Toolkit to get on my list. And then I will announce it there in a few days. maybe even today. Do you have a product about Outcome Independence coming out? Thank you very much. You're very welcome. Not per se. I need to update the Unchained Man. That is a very big project that I have to keep pushing back, but it needs to happen. That's a pretty evergreen book, but I would like to update that book every 10 years or so, and it's been not 10 years, but close. And so I'll be putting stuff in there about that, but I want to do that right, so it's going to take a long time. Other than that, no. How long would it take one to get wealthy now that it is a requirement? Oh, I'm not saying it's a requirement. What did I say? Well, I'll leave it on here. What did I say about that in one of my videos? The only two types of men who are going to survive and thrive in the collapsing Western world in the dark age which we entered are men who are wealthy or men who are hyper flexible. You must be one of those two. So if you're not going to be wealthy, that's fine. You better be really fucking flexible. If I say you got to move and live to in Guatemala, you can't say, I don't want to live in Guatemala. I need a target where I live. You're fucked. Or wealthy, which means $10 million net worth and above. How long does it take to get wealthy? It depends on many factors. I cannot answer that question. It depends on you, how hard you work, how well you niche, what the margin is of what you're selling, how many hours per week you work. Depends on a lot of things. It depends on what you define as wealthy. I define it as $10 million or more net worth. So it depends on a lot of things. So I can't answer that question. Are you doing another 9-day business builder course in January? We're going to start doing them semi-regularly, but not January. I don't know when yet. I have an idea. Hey, Caleb, how many pieces of free content, blog posts, YouTube, video, TikTok do I need to start seeing real traffic to my site? Regular weekly content, ideally every day if you could do it at least several times a week. And again, I can't answer that question. It depends on what your niche is and what your content is and how good you are. If you're an entertaining personality, I'm a pretty entertaining personality. If you talk like this to the camera, and then what you do is, then it's going to take longer. If it's a video, for example. If you don't have a video personality, do a podcast or do a blog or what. So it depends on a lot of factors. A few months, you got to be patient. Doesn't happen fast. A few months. People say Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson won for president. What are the odds of that happening? I would put it at least 20%. At least 20%. At least. Since you're a Sylvester Stallone fan, I sure am. Are you looking forward to the Tulsa King TV series? I am. It'll probably be terrible, but because he's in it, I might like it. TV sucks now. So, you know. And I'm going to wait to watch it on the plane because I don't watch TV. I'm too busy working. I don't watch TV. So I'll wait till all the series is all out, and then I will watch it on the plane the next time I have a long flight. Have you ever watched WWE, WWF? Of course. I'm not into it, but yes. And am I a fan? I am not. It's too fake. That's why I didn't collect superhero comic books when I was a kid. I bought comic books, but like, you know, what comic, like Robotech and Alien versus Predator and comic books like that. Not superhero comics because like, this is stupid. It's not realistic. So no. Who's your favorite wrestler? I'm just not a fan. Don't have one. What martial art would you take up next? Krav Maga. Is there a way to make a six-figure income by doing tutoring such as math or language instruction? Yes, only if you are very niched to a very wealthy audience. So your niche is super children or college students of super wealthy families, like wealthy Chinese families going to college in the United States or in the UK or something like that, then you could. Other than that, no. What is the average monthly net income of someone who goes through your 90-day business builder program at the end of the program? We don't have those statistics yet because the program just ended. There's a few people who we're still working with because they haven't made the money yet, but they're about to. So we got to wait a few months for those statistics. So, and as soon as I get them, I'm going to publish them. I can't wait. Can't wait. Can one focus on Alpha 2.0 business women as us men need sex, then gym as a bare minimum for high testosterone? I think the latter two would help starting on an Alpha 2.0 business much more better and enjoyable. Rule of two again. So if you're going to the gym to maintain your muscle mass, to maintain your health, it doesn't count as one of your two things. If you're going to the gym to get bigger, which is what I'm doing right now, I'm going to the gym to get bigger and better. So that's an improvement area for me. So I got one more and I'm done, right? So get good with women, build your Alpha 2.0 business, go to the gym to get ripped. Those are three. One has to be put on pause. Or you go to the gym and you just do it at maintain. I'm trying to develop a prosperity mindset. How do I go about not thinking of money as a scarce resource? The book you want is the author's name is Catherine Ponder. Catherine Ponder, and the book is called, I'm not at home, so I usually would pull off my shelf and show you. Hang on, I'm going to Google it really fast. You need to read a book. It's called, shit, where is it? Where's the book? Hang on, almost there. The Dynamic Laws of Prosperity by Catherine Ponder. Get that book and read it. There's a little religious Jesus-y stuff in there, a little bit. Just ignore that part. The rest of it's awesome. Read that book. That'll help you. Do you reckon personality disorders will also get worse in the West? Not reckon, they will. Yes, they will. Is your son taller than you? No, he is shorter than I am. He's about 5, I don't know what he is, 5'8". I'm 5'10 and a half. 5'10 and a half. It's like a little kid. I'm 6 and a half. What's your opinion of Jeff Birch? I have no idea who that is. What do you like most about Mexico? I like the people there. I like Mexicans. I think Mexicans are cool. They're just cool. They're not chill. That's not the word I would use for Mexicans. That'd be for Paraguayans. They're chill. I like the Mexicans. And it's cheaper, like that. I like it's in the same time zone as the United States. That's kind of helpful. There's a few things I like. That's kind of nice when you're living in Dubai. What do you mean, Caleb? Trading is not location independent. Location dependent. You can trade on your laptop anywhere in the world. He wasn't talking about trading. He was talking about learning a trade, like electrician, plumber, carpenter. That's what he was referring to. Caleb, be careful with the anastrozole. Oh, I already know all this, dudes. You don't have to worry me about anastrozole. I'm weaning myself off it. You're right. You're right. I know I don't like it. And I just talked about how I take half of one pill every other week. Soon I'm going to half of a pill every 3 weeks, and then half a pill once a month, and eventually maybe taper off of it completely while checking my blood. You're right. I know. Deep breaths and relax. I know all the research. Trust me. Do you agree with left-wingers that Trump is one of the worst presidents of all time, not just in modern time? No, I don't agree with that. He is one of the worst presidents of modern time, but that's not saying anything because we've had 6 horrible presidents in a row. We've literally had 5 or 6 ridiculous presidents in a fucking row. Reason number 42 that America is collapsing. Joe Biden, ridiculous. Trump, ridiculous. Obama, ridiculous. George W. Bush, ridiculous. And then Bill Clinton, ridiculous. So how many is that? Biden, Trump, Obama, Bush, and Clinton. 5 ridiculous presidents in a fucking row. My God. So yes, Trump sucks, but all these guys sucked. So, and you know what's horrible? With the exception of Trump, they were all reelected. That's how stupid Americans are. They reelected Bush. They reelected Obama. They, in theory, I can't say it because YouTube will ban me. I already got a strike on my channel for saying something about the election between Trump and a certain other person. I can't even say it. But anyway, if you niche in an info business and the info is out there, but it is hard to find, can you expand on this or tailor this to one's personal experience? Niche. Well, if you're going to niche to that level, then it should be something in your past. If it's that hard to find, if you don't know anything about the niche and it's super hard to find out about the niche, then I wouldn't do it. And the best place to find that is interview people in the niche. Even if you got to pay them, interview them. Get them on the phone and ask them questions in 50 minutes. You'll learn a lot. You interview 4 or 5 people in your niche, including a business niche, 10 minutes on the phone, you'll learn a lot of data. So that's how you do it. The world as a whole will eventually be divided into 2 distinct parts. One high-tech, low freedom. The other low-tech, higher freedom. Your thoughts. Where would you live if it came true? I don't completely disagree. I'd have to think about that, perhaps. Here's the thing about that, though, is that there will be high-tech or moderate tech, let's call it first world holdouts that are much less unfree. There will be. They won't last very long. They'll be like Georgia. So Georgia for a few years was a very free country, and it's not now. It's sliding back the other way again. But for a while, it was pretty good. And it was kind of first world-ish, okay, right? So you'll probably have holdouts, little countries. Dubai is another example, UAE, where like, look, we want money. We want foreign investment. We want foreigners to come live here and work here and boom our economies. We want this. So we'll embrace freedom. We don't like that we have to embrace freedom. The Muslims in charge of the UAE do not like that women dress like hoes and they don't like it. But they know, they're smart enough to know, we want cash. We want money. We can't rely on our oil forever. So we're going to reduce the amount of restrictions, increase our freedom so we can get the money. So you will all probably always have little spots of the world like that. I think. I could be wrong, but I think that's true. You're not going to have 100% of the world be one thing. You're not going to have 100% of all high-tech countries be communist. I don't think that's going to happen. Could? I don't think so. When are you launching the affiliate marketing training course? Ooh, I am working with someone on that very thing. It will be someone else's course because I'm not good at that. That's one of my weak areas as a business owner is affiliate marketing. JVs I'm good at, but affiliate marketing I'm weak. So I have somebody who is a fucking genius at this and he's going to do it. And stay tuned. Coming soon. What additional type of content are you going to put in the Unchained Man? 5 flag stuff. There's no 5 flag stuff in Unchained Man. I'm going to add some 5 flag stuff. I'm going to add some woman stuff. I'm going to update it. A few things have changed in the last few years. I'm just going to update it. It's not like a ton of new content. It's 440 pages. I don't want it to make 550 pages. Matter of fact, the new version of the Unchained Man, well, I can say this. I was trying to figure out whether I should say this publicly. I'm going to update the Unchained Man for those few people who want to read a book. People are so stupid now they can't read. So once that's done, the next thing for Unchained Man is booklets with like big words and big font and comic book pictures demonstrating things because that's what people will read now. So I'm going to do that too. So we already have one ready. We're going to get 2 more of these booklets. Matter of fact, if you join the Alpha 2.0 Society, which we closed down, you have a copy of one of those booklets. So we're going to get that done plus 2 more. And maybe they'll even be free. Just hand them out. They'll be just PDFs you can download. Yeah. Or will it be like now, different tech freedom level from the country to country also in the future? I don't know. Good question. Don't know. Don't know. What's your take on Paraguay? It's not Paraguay. It's Paraguay. I was saying Paraguay. Then I was saying Paraguay, which is closer, but it's not. Now it's Paraguay. So I'm training my brain to say Paraguay, Caleb. What's your take on Paraguay cracking down a residency visa with recent law that now passed? Don't worry about it. Will they budge on the rules or will it get harder to get residency or passport tracked? It will be harder to get residency in Paraguay and every other country in the world, as I said numerous times, including in this very live stream. We are offering a get residency in Paraguay service. It will be in March. I haven't officially announced this yet. We're going to in the next week or two, where you would literally fly down to Paraguay with us. We put you up in a hotel for a week. You work with our attorneys, and we literally get you residency. We do the whole process for you. It's awesome. And I'll be there. We'll have a little seminar and everything. It's going to be the shit. March. It's going to be awesome. And we're also doing that for Armenia. We're doing that for Dubai. And we're doing that for Mexico. All next year. Can't wait. It'll be awesome. It'll be so fun. Email marketing like MailerLite requires a physical address. Yes, you need a physical address. Do you recommend getting a P.O. box for this purpose? Yes, that's fine, although banks don't like those. So it depends on, for that kind of stuff, yes, you need a physical address in a mainstream country. I maintain a physical address in the United States because for those kind of reasons, yes. To start a podcast, if someone moves from the West, do they just buy the equipment and set up on their flat in the new country? Yeah. Yes, I know flat equals apartment. Thank you. I may be a dumb American, but I'm a dumb international American. Everyone we know, Pink Firefly and I know, in Dubai are from the UK. Everybody. There are no Americans in Dubai. We're the only ones. So everyone's from the UK or Germany or Eastern Europe. So we're the only ones with American accents. And all these UK girls are like, to my wife, they're like, oh, your accent's so cute, your accent. And my wife's like, I don't have an accent. My wife is not international. She's learning though. Sweetheart, you have an accent. You have an American accent. I do? No, I don't. Yes, you do. I have a very strong American accent. I look American. People in Dubai can tell I'm American. Well, you're an American. As soon as I start talking or I'm just moving my face, they're like, whoa. Which is true. Gotta bounce. Well, that's very nice, Gunnar. Thank you. That's awesome. You're absolutely right about LinkedIn being an untapped gold mine of opportunity. Absolutely, man. Oh my God, there's so much money in LinkedIn right now, and I'm not accessing it, and it's on the agenda. Trust me. Trust me. Can you please give a preview of some of the things you're planning to do on this platform? Pure Alpha 2.0 business content. Should I announce this right now? Yeah, I'll say it. I'm doing a third podcast, and it's interviews. It's me talking to people on my team, coaches I work with, and maybe even sometimes some of my clients. We've already recorded 2 of them, me and Billy Olds, you know who that is? Those of you who know who that is. She scales companies. She makes a high 6-figure location-dependent income. She works in my business. So her and I have done 2. We've recorded 2 of them. It's called Business Badassery. Coming soon, probably next week. We're probably going to launch this thing. And that's primarily for LinkedIn. We do that with LinkedIn in mind. But it'll be on YouTube and everything else. So I'm hitting LinkedIn hard, man. I'm leaning all in on LinkedIn. I'm leaning all in on TikTok, unfortunately. I'm backing off on my Instagram. I'm going back to Twitter. My Twitter's been dead for years. I got 11,000 followers there. It's been dead. I'm going back to Twitter because unfortunately that's where people are. I'm going back. I go where the money is, so I'm going. I'm surprised you didn't mention Mexican food. The food in Mexico is the best in the world, in my opinion, of course. Damn near. I don't think it's the best in the world, but it's up there. Hong Kong and Italy, man, that's the best in the world. Dubai's pretty goddamn good too. But Hong Kong and Italy, oh. But Mexico's right under those 2. Fuck yeah. Oh my God, Mexican food's so good. Mexican food in Mexico. Phew. There's a thing in Guadalajara and Andares right down the street from where we normally stay, this restaurant. I won't say the name because then I'll get a bunch of stalkers. But they have this thing where it's like this pepper and it's filled with cheese and it's like this like mole sauce on the top. Oh, fuck. Not good for my diet, but very good. Do you watch anime when you're sick? What, I'm sick? What is what I'm sick? Attack on Titan. I have never watched Attack on Titan. Anime, yes, when I was younger. So my anime is very dated. So I was watching Robotech, Macross, Gundam. See how dated I am? I was watching, and I was watching Record of Lodoss War, Bubblegum Crisis. So my anime is like 25 years out of date because I'm an old man. I don't have time to watch anime now. I just don't. Anime is cool. Akira is the shit. Akira is the shit. Macross is the shittest, the shittiest in a good way of the shit, the best shit, Macross. But again, it's dated. I also like mecha anime, right? And they don't have a lot of good ones in the last 15 years. They just don't do that. They did that awesome in the 80s and 90s. They just don't do that very well now. But Neon Genesis Evangelion, those are stupid. That anime doesn't look right. It just doesn't look right. How much stuff do you travel with? Hotel versus Airbnb. One backpack is right over there. I travel with one bag. One bag, that's it, one bag. Get my Travel Ace course, although you can't get it right now. We'll reopen Travel Ace in a week or 2. And I go through the entire, how to pack, how I do it, what to buy. It's one of my cheapest courses too. Track with one bag. It's called a Tortuga backpack. That's all I do. I can survive up 2 weeks with just one backpack. Because that's how I roll. For someone with residency in Brazil, do you think Paraguay or Uruguay would be a good next option to think about in terms of a next flag? Yes, I think it's an easy flag for you. Really easy, because you don't even need your passport to cross the border, right? You just use your cedula and walk right over. My main FB in Paraguay is right now in Sao Paulo for her birthday. And they just walk across the border with the cedula. They don't need a passport for that border. It's awesome. So yes, that'd be a great idea. Yeah, cool. Found a great way to start to niche is through productized services, but you have to systematize the service delivery, though. Not an excuse, just a step. Correct, it is a step. Correct. Presidential politics in America is more of a personality contest than actual policies. That's not just America, bro. That is the entire Western world. Look at the Prime Minister of Canada is. Look who's been running Germany the past 15 years. Okay, it's the whole Western world. Yes, but it's the whole Western world. Trust me, with rare exception. Getting the Chilean passport, it's amazing. It's not part of the EU. That's tier 1 passport, which could place you. Yeah, the Chilean passport's the shit. I agree with that. Yes, very true. Does hyperflexible also mean using different airports? Yes, instead of just using one airport in your hometown, but using multiple airports and having to go back and forth west to get your stuff. Yes, 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 yes. Perfect example. When I come to Portland, which I fucking hate, I have to fly into, don't have to, but I normally fly into Seattle, SeaTac, which is a okay airport. The problem is, up until very recently, they stopped doing this. They had some kind of policy where once you got through immigration, okay, and you were going down a baggage claim, I said I'd only travel with one bag and it's a backpack. If the security guards just stand, they don't do this anymore, they used to. Only in this airport, they would stand around and watch everyone walk by. And if you were not holding a bag in your hand, if you were not dragging a bag because you had multiple bags, so you just had one bag, a backpack, they say, oh, excuse me, sir, and they pull you over and they'd interrogate you. And because I live in Dubai, they'd be like, oh, what? And I would be detained for like up to a half an hour at a time. Thanks, America. That's great. Love America. It's not authoritarian at all. It's not a police state. Dubai is authoritarian, right? I go to that airport in 3 minutes. But America, it's an hour and a half. Because America's not authoritarian. Dubai's authoritarian. Anyway, so yeah, that's the way it goes. Favorite presidents of the 20th century, if you have any. Let's see. Was it Harding? Who was right before? Let's see. I got to think this through now. Is it Harding? I'm drawing a blank on his name. The guy who was president after Woodrow Wilson, but well before the Roaring 20. No, the recession. Hang on. It's going to drive me nuts. I think it's Harding. I'll tell you exactly what it is. Hang on. Please hold. Calvin Coolidge. Harding is, no, I don't like Harding. Calvin Coolidge. One of the most libertarian presidents we had. There was a massive recession in the early 1920s, and you never heard of it. You know why? Because Calvin Coolidge prevented it by not doing anything. He just didn't touch anything, and it went away. That's what Hoover and FDR should have done in the next recession, but they exacerbated it by doing a bunch of shit. I'm in Dubai. No, I'm in Dubai now. Caleb, what are your favorite chaotic high person freedom, low cost countries? I don't like chaotic countries. That's not my thing. That's other people's thing. So I can't answer that question. I wouldn't live in Brazil. It's too crazy for me. I wouldn't live in Argentina. It's too crazy. So I can't answer that question because that's not what my thing is. But you could. In what ways is Georgia becoming less free? They have rescinded a bunch of things that they used to be able to do. For example, you used to be able to go to Georgia and open a bank account without being a resident. Now you need all this goddamn paperwork. You have to hire an attorney. You have to do this and this and this and this and this and this. Fuck that. You used to be able to, 5 years ago, you walk into any bank, pull out your American passport and open a bank account right there. It was easy. I mean, I'm exaggerating a little bit. Now it's a fucking nightmare. And that's not the only thing they're changing. They've just backpedaled on this freedom stuff. Sad. As an individualist, what type of government regulations do you actually support? There are only 2 laws that you need in a free country, a free libertarian country for individualists and people who love freedom, which are not left-wingers and not modern-day Trump supporters. There are only 2 laws that you need, and maybe a few subsets off those 2 laws. There are only 2. Not 117,000 like there are in the National Register in most Western countries, okay? 2 laws. You only need 2 laws. What? That's insane. No, you only need 2 laws. Here they are. Do not violate anyone else's person or property. So assault, RAPE, vandalism, theft. Don't assault someone's person. Don't damage or take their property, okay? Number 2, whatever you promise in writing, you must do. And that's it. It's called basic law. It used to be the basis of American law prior to the Civil War or prior to I forget the year. When you were in a jury, you just had to determine, did he violate one of the two basic rules? Did he violate someone's personal property, or did he promise something in writing that he didn't do? Those are the only two laws you need. I support those two laws. I don't support anything else. Nothing. 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 That's it. If you have those two laws, it covers everything else in society. Okay? Those are the two laws I support, which means I disagree with 99.9% of all laws, which I do. I'm a minarchist libertarian. I'm not an anarchist. They would disagree with 100% of all laws. They don't want any laws. They don't want any government. I said at the beginning of this live stream, government is fine. It's tolerable. I don't like it, but it's tolerable as long as you keep it as small as you can for as long as you can. Small, local, and decentralized. When it becomes big, far away, and centralized in one place, that's when all the problems start. By the way, that's the way the original America was designed. It had a little teeny tiny federal government that didn't do shit. And the states, you said the states could do whatever they wanted. And different states had different laws, and you could move to whichever state most reflected your value system, and everybody was happy, more or less. Not exactly, I'm exaggerating. But now it's one big government called the federal government. The states do what it says, and they're clones of that. And so anytime the federal government makes any new law, half the country is happy and half the country is furious, which means everyone's furious all the fucking time. Reason number 22, I don't live in the United States anymore. Best places to hire an immigration lawyer. It is very difficult to do this. You have to do your research on Google and make a lot of phone calls and send a lot of emails, and it's hard because most of them will not return your calls. It's a pain in the ass. If you are talking about the countries I recommend, you can go to getresidency.io and you can use our lawyers there. Is there a particular reason you aren't actively posting to your Twitter account? Yes, because Twitter's a goddamn shithole, cesspool, toilet bowl. That's why. Twitter's a bunch of immature monkeys. So I hate it. But that's where the money. I've been waiting for Twitter to collapse and something to replace it. It hasn't happened, and it's gotten stronger for some fucking reason. So I've finally made the strategic business decision to start posting my Twitter account. So stay tuned. Caleb will be on Twitter a lot coming very shortly. Hang on, I got to check the time here. I can hang a little longer. So that's why I hate Twitter. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I'm probably gonna have to do a thing on Twitter where I don't read the comments. I may have to do a Joe Rogan and post stuff on Twitter, but not look at any comments, or else I'm like, what's the point? It's bad enough when you do TikTok and YouTube Shorts. All the haters come out, or not the haters, but people have no context for what you're saying. I'll say something like, "It's easy to travel." I did a YouTube short. This is just one example. I'll say something like, "It's easy to travel anywhere in the world. You can travel to anywhere in the world round trip if you do the research for around $800. Okay, it's easy. It's not like super expensive. And people said, "People in Africa can't afford that. You don't know anything about the world." Because they don't realize I'm talking to the Westerners. So anyway, so I made to do that. In the niche for the info business, I have found someone online who talks about a similar thing. Shall I reach out to them first? You mean a competitor? Sure. Love the enchantment, wouldn't fly 500 pages. I remember your name. You probably would love a 500-page book, but you're not the typical human. Most people can't even read a book of 20 pages. They're like, "Do you have an audiobook?" That's why audiobooks have exploded. Audiobooks have exploded because no one wants to read anymore. It's hilarious. When I first started selling audiobooks on Audible, I was shocked at how much money I made. I'm like, "Oh my God, thousands of dollars a month on audiobooks." I'm like, well, that makes sense. Nobody knows how to read. I'm in Dubai. Most people I see here aren't dressed that provocative. No, it depends on where you go. You got to go to the beach and like Dubai Mall and stuff. Yeah, I'm exaggerating. You're right. But there are, right? You've seen it, right? I know you've seen it. Holy shit. You're going to Palm Jumeirah at the 5 and shit like that? They're all hoes. I got hoes in every area code. As a minarchist libertarian, did you study or are you interested in Austrian economics? Yes, in great detail. The answer is big yes. Yes, yes, yes. What are some good spots to go on vacation and mental break from the world restore? That's up to you, and it's completely a subjective. My favorite vacation spots will not be your favorite vacation spots. Do you like snow? Do you like beach? Do you like forests? Do you like exciting cities? What do you like? Depends on you. Everyone's different. That's why I like to go to Paraguay, because it's Asuncion is this little tiny town city, but it's a tiny little city in the middle of this forest. There's nothing around for miles around, and the people are chill. As soon as you fly, like, this is kind of nice. As compared to Dubai, for example, or like Hong Kong or London or something like that. Yeah. What are some of your favorite, I don't know, favorite what? Favorite milkshake? Chocolate. What are your thoughts on Armenia? I was there in May and couldn't believe how expensive Yerevan was compared to the other ex-Soviet countries. True, it is more expensive than Eastern Europe because it's not an Eastern European country. It is a Caucasus country, yes. Also, the conflict with Azerbaijan looks like it's escalating. The conflict with Azerbaijan is going to go up and down and up and down and up and down and up and down forever. That's just the way it is. Part of Yerevan, part of living in Armenia. So that's why I don't recommend Armenia as a living flag, but I do strongly recommend it as a residency flag. Armenia at the moment, if you have $6,000, that's the if you have $6,000, Armenia is the fastest, easiest, best residency to get in the world right now. If you just want residency somewhere, you got $6,000, go to Armenia, you'll have it like in 3 days. I mean, the process is over in 3 days. Within 25 days, you've got it. They'll mail it to you. You're done. It's like, it's easier than Dubai. It's great. Would I live there? No, because I have what? The adjacent enemy rule. So I will never live in any country that has an adjacent enemy, an adjacent hostile country to that country. So that means Armenia has Azerbaijan, so I can't, that doesn't qualify, so I wouldn't live there. Spend time there, sure, go there. Residency flag, absolutely. Now there's a bunch of Russian money coming in there. You could even do some creative banking stuff there. I'm really tempted to start doing that because in Dubai, Armenia is just 2 hours away. I can pop over there whenever I want. So, yeah. What are some of your favorite places in the world to go to restore your mind, vacation, get? Oh, you the same question? That are my favorite. Paraguay, I mentioned that. Guadalajara, Mexico, I mentioned that. When I used to live in the United States, the Oregon coast, love that. Very different than like the California coast. Where else do I go to relax? Mountains, I like mountains. So I lived in the United States, we would like to Mount Hood, Mount St. Helens. I like mountains. I like snow. We are planning on going to Maldives, start going there on a regular basis. If you know what Maldives, it's like Bora Bora. You like have little huts on the water. You see the fish. Oh, we're going there in March, my wife and I. I'm probably gonna start spending a lot of time. I'm trying to find a place like in Switzerland or Austria, a snowy place to spend Christmas, like in a cabin. Oh, that'd be great. So I'm trying to look at new places now that we're in Dubai. I got a lot of ideas. Any business or personal experience that shifted your mindset maybe the last 5 to 10 years? Sure, many. Something that like, if you're meaning something that happened to me that shifted, I mean, nothing major, but little things all the time. Yeah. The biggest thing, I've mentioned this before, in 2018, it wasn't something that happened to me. It was a decision I made. I had to make the decision, do I ride on my current 6-figure income for the rest of my life, and this easy 6-figure, and just ride on that, or do I go for the big money? It was a pivotal life decision I made in 2018, summer of 2018. Do I stick with my, team of 3 or 4 people and make my 6-figure income and just ride that out and do that the rest of my life into my 70s, 80s? Or do I go for the big money? And there are lots of pros and cons to both those decisions. And it took me a while. Usually I'm a very decisive person, but this is a big decision. And it took me a few months to make that decision. I had to consult a lot of people, do a lot of soul searching, talk to a lot of people who make that kind of money, talk to people who make the kind of money I was making back then. And I decided to go for the big money. And I'm glad I did. My life is very different now in many ways. So that was a big change. Another big change was, although it wasn't a business change, those of you who know my content, I was planning on leaving the United States in 2025. So for years, I said, 2025, I'm out of here. 2020, I'm out of the United States. Well, notice I left in 2021 because in 2020, with all the Trump shit and all the riots and all the psycho left-wingers saying, well, we have to burn down buildings because no one else listens to us. And all the Trump supporters saying, well, police have to beat the shit out of 70-year-old men who are just standing there and crack their skulls open. Law and order. I said, okay, I'm done. I'm out. I'm not waiting until 2005. It's going to be 2025. This place is going to be a fucking shithole by 2025. I'm out now, or I'm out in a year. So I went and told my wife, I said, you know what? We were moving to Dubai or wherever we were moving in 2025. We're moving next year. I'm not waiting. This is going to get much worse, much faster. And I was right. Pandemic, everything. I'm like, thank God I left. So that was a change. LinkedIn is very PC, though. The entire internet is PC. Correct. There are certain things I'm not allowed to say, including here on YouTube. I just can't say them. Join my coaching programs and you can listen to me say whatever you want, whatever I feel like. If I heard you, would you help me turn my IT job into a contracting business? I already work a location-independent job. We have a guy in the location-independent business builder who did exactly that. He went to his boss. He was in the tech industry. I'll let him talk about it. He did a testimonial video for us. You'll be hearing from him soon. He's a great guy. He went to his boss and basically renegotiated his whole job and said, I will now be a consultant. You'll pay me as a contractor. I'll do the same work. So now he makes more money and pays way less in taxes. So his take home is way better now. Awesome. He did that through our program. So the answer is a big yes. 90daybizbuilder.com. For storage, if all one has mainly clothes, can you just store them in different countries, i.e. coats, sweaters, in colder countries? You bet. Yeah, I've talked about that. You have storage units in different countries. I do. You bet. That's perfectly fine. Your opinion of Bitcoin. Bitcoin is a fantastic investment. It will go back up. It'll be a while. It's going to be a while. Fantastic investment right now at 19K. Oh my God, buy Bitcoin, in my opinion. This is not investment advice. I own a lot. I'm going to make money. I've made a lot of money in Bitcoin twice. And I got out both times before it crashed because I'm not a Bitcoin moron. Never sell. I'm not one of those idiots, okay? But I've made a lot of money in Bitcoin in 2020. I made a lot of money in 2017, both times. My apartment in Dubai, I paid the entire year with my Bitcoin profits in 2020 or 21. When it hit 60,000, I sold at 51. Whew, I'm going to do it again. So now's the time to buy, but you got to be patient. If you want to buy it and make a bunch of money in 3 months, no. Yeah, it's going to be a while. Ever read the horror sci-fi The Passage trilogy by Justin Cronin? No. Check them out. Interesting. Okay. I've never read horror. I mostly like fantasy when I read novels. Sci-fi a little. Interesting. Okay. You got me intrigued. All right. Horror sci-fi. That's cool. You know what I'm listening to right now? So I read a book and I do an audiobook. This is hilarious. I'm listening to Brandon Sanderson, who I have a love-hate relationship with. I've written about him on my blogs. He did a series on superheroes, and it's labeled as a YA series, young adult, but it's not. It's violent as fuck. And the premise is it's a trilogy. The premise is, what if suddenly superheroes appeared, but they're all evil? And so they just destroy the earth? It's great. And not great. It's very good. It's not great. It's good. I'm on the third one now. It's called Calamity. No, it's called The Reckoners. Listen to that now. That's pretty good. It's not great, but it's light. It's light reading. Like when I'm traveling and doing other work, I can listen to it. It's pretty good. The main character is a beta male because fantasy offers are all betas, with the exception of 1 or 2. So the main character is always a beta male, but that bugs me. But other than that, can't have everything, right? How do you target high income level demographics with free content? It's the same way you target anyone else. You write to the niche. So when you write your free content, you're writing to that avatar and no one else. You're ignoring everyone else. The reason I was able to make the Black Dragon blog work, how I started this business 13 years ago, whatever, is I wrote to a very specific demographic and no one else. I ignored everyone else. And I pissed everyone off except people in my niche, and I made a lot of money. That's how it works. How long do I still have to leave the West? I'm 16, so I can't leave now. I get that question all the time. I don't know the answer to that question. It depends which country you're in. If you're in Germany, you should have left a long time ago. I realize you're 16. Wait till you're 18, please. But if you're in Germany, you should have left a long time ago. If you're in America, you should leave now or soon. So it depends what country you're in. I mean, if you're in Portugal, you could probably wait a while. Maybe a long time. I don't know. So it really depends what country. If you're 16, plan ahead. Make a plan. At what age do you want to leave? You set a goal for maybe 20 or 19 or 18 or whatever. Plan ahead. Get ready. I did that when I was 16, not moving, but starting my company. I would be in the back of the room in my Algebra 2 class when I was in high school reading how to start a business. I'd be reading business books and I would fail the class. And my mom would be pissed, but I was making 6 figures in my 20s, so it worked. Airports are trying to prevent another blank. Yes, they are, but that's stupid. So I'm a libertarian. One of the statements of a libertarian is, I'd rather be in danger, leave me alone. So my deal about the airports is security should be handled by the airlines, not by the government and not by the airports, which are another way of saying government. So you should be able to pick any airline you want, and the airline will say, on this airline, we're going to make you strip naked and scan your whole body because we don't want another terrorist attack. And the other airline will say, you can bring machine guns onto our flight. We don't care. Come on over. You take your own risk. Come on over, no problem. Okay? And so then you pick which airline you want. That would be freedom. The opposite of freedom would be the United States, where you go to the airport, no matter what airline you're using, you have to stand like this in a scanner that literally takes a naked picture of you. It's an X-ray with a naked picture of you, and it goes into a government database. And you have to do it or you can't fly. You can opt out, but then you have a guy feeling your balls. That would be the opposite of freedom. You said you couldn't stand Rings of Power. Thoughts on HBO's House of the Dragon? I have not even touched that show, and I'm thinking that I might like it because I'm hearing reasonably good things about it. So I'm going to wait until that show is done, and then I'll watch it all together. Me and Pink Firefly will watch it because she likes to watch TV. So she gets an hour a day with me to watch a stupid TV show, and that'll be one of our shows to watch because she likes Game of Thrones. So I don't know. I'll let you know. Rings of Power, no. Oh my God. It's so fascinating that they spent $1 billion on a show with shitty writing. The writing is shitty on a show with $1 billion budget. It's just so fascinating how these big companies are also in a way collapsing. That's not the word I would use, but you see my point. She-Hulk is by Marvel. Marvel has unlimited funds, billions of dollars they have access to. And it's a show, it's a legal show, and the writers actually said, we don't know how to write courtroom scenes. It's so interesting to watch these big, giant, entrenched conglomerations with tons of money completely fuck up the most basic things. Let's spend $4 billion on Star Wars. Let's make a trilogy of Star Wars movies and not plan anything. Let's just wing it, see what happens, and have every movie be different and suck. It'll be fine. It's so interesting. This is a subset of cultural collapse. I talk about, on the blogs, talk about cultural, I'm talking about economic collapse, but there's also cultural collapse. It's just fascinating to watch. George Carlin was right. This is the most fascinating show in world history. The collapse of the United States, the collapse of the Western culture, the collapse of the Western world. It's fascinating. It's so interesting. How come you're so underrated? Never heard of you, Pickup Community, until now, where I saw your presentation at the 21 Convention in Orlando, and your books have not been rated on Audible. They haven't been rated? Really? I can give you the main reason. This is only 1/3 of what I do. I have other companies. So if I was like most guys in the pickup artist world or the red pill world, most those big name guys, that's their job. That's all they do. That's their only source of income is that. I do lots of other things. I can only donate a percentage of my time to this. So it's not like I could, if I was doing nothing but this, different story. I probably would be a much bigger name, but I have other things going on that you guys don't know about at all that make money. So that's why. I take my own advice. I want diversified income streams. I don't want just one thing I'm doing. What happens if it becomes illegal to talk about anything pickup related on the internet, which very well could happen? Then these guys are fucked, right? What happens if they just press a button and just delete Red Pill? Which could happen. Probably won't, but it could. Ask Andrew Tate, right? Then you would be stuck on Rumble the rest of your life. You see why? Anyway, that's my guess. That's probably why. I don't know. Making $300K a year at 24, good. But feel like I'm not doing enough. Any advice? If it's from a job, you're fucked. Start your own business. If it's from your own business, turn it to location independent. Join my 500K Business Accelerator program to do that. Okay. Other than that, you're doing great. Is Uruguay an option? Uruguay's fantastic. Love Uruguay to death. Great, great place. Recommended. Trust me, if you go on Fresh and Fit podcast, good marketing technique, as most viewers are typical red pill. Yes, I will go. I promise. Unless they don't let me on. Do you think we'll all be caramel in the future? No white and black, just Asians and one caramel race. I do think that. I do think that. Long-term future, yes. The white race is dying out fast. We're not having babies. Because you whiteys have made it too expensive to have kids by voting for Democrats or Republicans for the last 57 years. You've made it too expensive to have children. You did this to yourselves. The right-wing narrative is that white people were doing nothing wrong and all these Mexicans came in, all these Muslims came in and fucked everything up. No, white people did this to themselves. They fucked this up. And the red pill narrative is men were doing nothing wrong and women came in and fucked this all. No, men did this. Men said, women, come on in and make this more socialist. Please don't break up with me. That's what happened. White Western men did this. So anyway, yes, I do believe that. I think in the far future, we'll all be brownies. Yeah, caramel. Caramel's a good word. Yeah. I mean, my family's example is my son is black. There you go, right? My last girlfriend before Pink Firefly was Asian. So had I married her and had kids, I would have had half Asian kids. So shit, there you go. I mean, I'm actually an example of this in a way. My main FBE before I left the United States was Mexican because I don't care about race. I don't give a shit. So yeah, I mean, yeah, man. Yeah. Would love to see you on a podcast with Doug Casey. Would be entertaining as hell. Love you both. I don't think he'd take me. I think I'm a little too extreme. Some of my opinions are a little too extreme for him. I've had some interaction with him, but I don't think that would happen. Fresh and fit, that's much more likely. But Doug Casey's great. Love him to death. I think it's fantastic. He's a little too, like Peter Schiff, he throws out dates for things. Oh, by next October, the stock market's going to collapse, and it doesn't. Like, Doug, don't do that. And Peter Schiff does that too. That's why you'll notice I don't say when the Western world collapsed because I don't know. It could be 2 years from now. It could be 30 years from now. I don't know. I know it's in our lifetimes. That I do know, but I don't know when. And if you say when, well, Caleb, and some of you do this. Caleb, you know, in November, this and this is going to happen. It never does. Best day to open LLC right now, Wyoming. Also, they are younger guys. All right, enough about Fresh and Fit. Got it. Do podcasts with Better Bachelor. Don't I know him? I mix all these guys' names up again. This is only 1/3 of what I do. I don't pay attention to this stuff. Better Bachelor. Didn't I? Wasn't I on his podcast? No? I think I'm talking about Playing with Fire. No, not him. I was on his too. Maybe. Okay, cool. But now Twitter was bought by Elon Musk. That hasn't happened yet. I'll believe it when it happens. And by the way, that won't change my opinion on Twitter. It'll still be a goddamn cesspool. You guys who are excited that Elon Musk might buy Twitter are the same guys who got excited when the Canadian trucker protest happened, and the same guys who got excited when Trump was elected, and the same guys who got excited when they tried to take out Gavin Newsom. None of these things are going to fix a goddamn thing. Only you can fix it. Stop looking for external solutions. How much will the Paraguay week-long fast-track residency program march cost? A few $1,000s. I don't know. I don't have a number. Less than 10,000, but a few thousand. Plus, you're going to need, if you don't have it, you will likely need $5,000, $5,200, but it's refundable. You have to deposit in a bank down there. When you get your residency, they refund it back to you. They refund 4,000 of it back to you. So just be aware of that too. So yeah, add that. So I would say, I don't want to give you numbers. I don't want to be wrong. A few thousand, but that covers all of your legal fees and your lodging. Your hotel will cover your hotel and some of your food. So we cover a lot. It doesn't cover your plane ticket. It covers a lot. It said the blue eyes will go extinct because there are more biracial people. I believe this. Very prevalent UK and other countries up here. Yes, absolutely. I believe that too. There will be no blue eyes in the future. Yes. I'll be one of the last ones. I have blue eyes. Yes. I think brown eyes are really hot on women, but I'm weird. Societal programming says that blue eyes are the hottest. I don't think so. I think brown, sexy, that's my wife, by the way. Sexy blonde, big boobs, small body, big ass, brown eyes. Ugh, that's so hot. But they say you're attracted to the opposite of what you are. So I have blue eyes, so I'm attracted to women with brown eyes. I have dark hair, so I'm attracted to blonde hair. I'm really big, so I'm attracted to really tiny girls, which is true. So biologically, at a biological level, you're attracted to your opposite. So I mean, that's why, I don't know. My dad was right when he told me I would spend my whole life dealing with idiots. Yes, most people are not idiots. Most people are irrational. Correct. And they're not dumb. They're irrational. Yes. 20% of people are dumb. That's a lot. And it's going to grow to 25, then 30, then 35. Idiocracy is coming. in addition to authoritarianism, in addition to collapsed economies, in addition to that? What metrics you use to decide on which social media platforms to concentrate on? Good question. Where my audience is and where the most growth will occur. So right now, I'll just tell you what it is for my niche. It is unfortunately YouTube. YouTube and Twitter, unfortunately, becoming more entrenched. I thought they would go away, but they're not. So YouTube, specifically YouTube Shorts, Twitter, LinkedIn, TikTok, those 4. That's where I'm going to hit really hard. I'll be on other places, but I'm not going to focus. So I'll be on Instagram. Instagram's kind of going away. Instagram is starting to slowly go away. Facebook's definitely going away. Facebook is only good for Facebook groups. So I'll be in the Facebook groups. I have 3 of them. But in terms of Facebook, I'm not going to focus on that at all. And I'll be on the alt tech platforms, Odyssey, Rumble, crap like that, just in case Rumble does take off. Now that Andrew Tate's there, everyone suddenly likes Rumble. So I'll be there, but YouTube ain't going anywhere. I thought it would by now, and it's not. I thought Twitter would be replaced, and it's not. So those 4. Wouldn't say the person is a competitor for the info business as they talk about it financial. I see it more of a joint venture opportunity. Great, do it. Do you have someone building backlinks for Alpha 2.0 site? I do not. That is a low ROI thing, in my opinion. Is Colombia still your most recommended country in South America? Well, recommended for what? So it depends on for what. I don't recommend countries. I recommend countries based on what you want. If your objective is lifestyle in a country that's doing reasonably well, Colombia is probably the best. If your objective is to just relax and be quiet, even if you might get bored, then it'd be Paraguay or Uruguay would be the best. Okay, so it depends. If your objective is adventure and risk, Argentina and Brazil would be the best. So it depends on what you're looking for. Okay. I don't go to places to get laid, so that's not so Colombia's not the top of my mind because I already have that part of my life well in hand. So, but if that's a priority for you, Medellin in Colombia is great. Yeah. Can I be an affiliate for products and courses? How do I go about it? Sure, I'll post a link, the sign up link. Hang on. See if I can pull up fast here. One moment. We do have an affiliate program. Hang on. Here it is. Hang on a second. I'll paste it. I'll paste the link to sign up for the affiliate program in the chat. Where is it? Kartra affiliate sign up link. I have a lot of links, as you might imagine. Copy. Let's see if it works. All right, I just posted that in the chat for you. You say China's going to run the world, but you don't seem like you recommend people living in China. No, not now. No, China's gone insane. China has gone from an intelligent authoritarian country to a psycho dictatorship, and I don't know why. I'm very confused. I don't know the inner workings of Chinese politics well enough to understand why that's happened. I don't know what they're thinking over there. I don't get it. All I can imagine is it's similar to Putin. You've got a dictator over there, Xi, who kills or fires anyone who says anything negative, and for some reason, the Communist Party over there is just worshiping this guy and doing whatever they say, whatever he says. I don't understand it. So no, I would not live in China right now. No, I would absolutely not. You kidding? No. And I didn't necessarily say I did say they rule the world. What is more accurate to say is they will be the greatest power in the world among a bunch of collapsed powers. So in that respect, they'll rule the world. Yes. China's got a lot of problems, but America's collapsing. So shit. This is going to be another you have heard of, but here it goes. Have you heard of Justin Waller? I've heard the name, but that's all I know. Like I said, I don't spend a lot of time consuming red pill or PUA content. I'm too busy. What's your opinion of treatment of lower class workers in Qatar during World Cup preparations? People not receiving any paychecks for physically demanding work that lasted several months. We have similar problems in the UAE. I think it sucks. I think it's awful. And lower class workers get fucked in most countries like that. And that's just, I think it sucks. Not much I can do about it. I mean, there's a lot I can say about it, but I agree. It's shitty. It sucks that these people are taken advantage of, and I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. However, The counter argument to that is, well, they're better off doing that, even if they're not, if the payments are delayed by months, even if they were paid, they're still making a hell of a lot more money they were making in Bangladesh. So that's the counter argument, and that's technically true, but I still hate it. Because people, Westerners look at this from a Western thing. Like when all the left-wingers were really mad at Nike for the sweatshops and Martha Stewart, all the sweatshops, what they didn't understand is you're working there, you're forcing little kids or you're forcing people to work in 12 hours a day in a factory. And no, these people are choosing to work there because they can make a lot more money there than they can out in the rice paddies making no money and starving. So it actually is a leg up for these people. I don't like it either. But you're viewing this through a very first world Westerner view. You got to view it as an international view. I still hate it though. Yes. What if there's someone who's disabled and needs assistance for finding and maintaining jobs? Also, what if that person needs money because they are temporarily unemployed? Can government have services? That's beyond my scope of experience. I don't have an easy answer for that. I don't know. What if you're disabled? You make the best of it. You make the best of it as best you can if you're disabled. Occasionally I'll get guys who come into my content. You know, it's easy for you to leave out of the country. I'm disabled. I'm in a wheelchair. Fuck you. Okay, that sucks. Why is this my fault? Do the best you can. Would I go on government services? No, but I have money, so it's easier. So if I was physically disabled now, I'd be okay because why? I spent the last 30 years of my life working really hard to build up a network to take care of me. You know, so, but that sounds like I'm being an asshole. I don't have an easy answer. You do the best you can with what you have. I have really shitty genetics for my physical body. If you take one look at my family, it's very clear I have horrible genetics in terms of physical fitness. I have a sister who is so fat she can barely walk upstairs. In a few years, she won't be able to walk upstairs. She'll have to drive one of those scooters. And she's younger than me. I have uncles, multiple, who died because I got so fat. Uncles on my side of the family. You do the best what you have. You do the best with the cards that you're given. You do the best. And you don't sit there and complain and bitch and moan. That's it. You're not exaggerating the current state of the U.S. I know. Recently flew into California, 72 hours, exiting Mexico. Fat and sickly people everywhere. I know it's awful. Rampant inflation, people arguing, what a mess. I'm in the U.S. right now just for 3 days, okay? Literally yesterday, an Uber driver in the car was screaming at someone as she's driving the car. Someone on the phone, she was screaming at someone. She was getting sued. Someone was suing her. Like, you fucked so-and-so because you sleep with people. Fuck you, you fucking cunt. Americans are angry, fucked up people now. They weren't always like this. Americans used to be wonderful. Now they're just angry, furious, touchy fucking people. Everyone, I know. I've been through it just 3 days. You go to Dubai, people aren't like this. People aren't furiously angry about everything in Dubai. They're not. I'm going to say Dubai's perfect. A lot better than here. When I go to Paraguay, no one's furious and angry about politics. That's not true. There's a percentage of people who are angry about politics. That is true. But it's not like the norm, like everybody. They don't care. Sucks, dude. And it's sad. In the 80s, America was great. Now it's Is your relationship with food the most difficult thing in your life? Yes, it is. What about Ethereum? Ethereum's fucking awesome. Same thing about Bitcoin. What I said about Ethereum, so with Bitcoin. They need to update Ethereum, but I think they will, right? Are they doing an Ethereum 2.0 soon? That'll be big. Some kind of fork or something? I don't know. The Reckoner sounds like the Amazon series The Boys. Ever seen it? The Boys is okay. Yes. No, The Reckoners is much better than The Boys. The problem with The Boys series, yes, I have seen all 3 seasons. I just watched season 3 recently, even though it was out a year on the plane. The Boys needs to give us Homelander going crazy and doing what he really wants to do, and they can't, because that would end the show. So they keep putting off the thing that made The Boys great. We need to see Homelander go, fuck you, and just start killing people en masse. But they can't do that because it would end the show. So the whole season 3, I'm waiting for this to happen. Season 2, too. I'm waiting for Homelander to just say, all right, fuck you. I'm going to take out the Pentagon. I'm going to fucking do the things he threatened to do, and he doesn't do it. He just pisses chickens out and becomes a nice guy at the end. You're like, oh. So that's the problem with The Boys. Still okay, but that's one of those seasons that or one of those series is going to peter out really quick. It already started, has to. That third season was, because they can't do what you want them to do. Whereas Reckoners, people get fucked up. I mean, the superheroes, they call them epics. They fucking read the first chapter of the first book of the Reckoners, and watch what happens. I'll tell you what happens real quick. It's a superhero, they're all villains, called Death Point, and his superpower is if he points at you, you disintegrate except your bones. So he just points at you and you turn into a skeleton fall. And he walks into a bank and just goes right in front of a little kid, right, and kills a woman and her baby. And I'm like, oh, this is pretty fucking cool. And it's already in a collapsed city where a Superman type person has already taken over and destroyed the city. It's badass. I like badass shit. And boys start out badass, but then it got, they're going too long. Would you say more women are being single parents or dying alone is another component of cultural collapse? I would. This is where some of the right-wingers are correct. This is where the tradcons are partially right. Yes, I would say that is part of it. Mm-hmm. Men and women together, long-term raising kids together is the best way to have a society. The tradcons are correct about that. The problem is monogamy doesn't work. That's the part they don't want to hear. So that's why I have my Alpha 2.0 stuff. I'm married, but I have sex with other women who are not my wife every week. And my wife knows it, and it's part of the marriage, and it works fine. That's much more likely to work than you never better touch any other woman ever again for the rest of your life. You do, we're getting divorced. Well, of course you're going to get divorced. How can you pull that off? Unless you hate sex. Not to mention women cheating. I mean, it's so stupid. But yes, the answer to that question, I agree, is yes. You once bought a person, Henry, on your podcast for financial help. Can't find his channel. Oh, Invest with Henry. That's his channel. Already answered that question. Let's see. How's your investment strategy changed given you are now doing 5 flags? Quite a bit. Are you able to invest in multiple stock markets? I don't like stocks. So I have very little. I have some stocks with very little. Do you still invest in the U.S. market? No, I do not own any American stocks, nor will I ever. I have nothing invested in the American stock market, and I haven't for many, many, many years, even when I lived here. Are you insane? Why would I invest in an overpriced bubble? Why the fuck would I do that now? And if you were in the stock market, if you are in the stock market now, you should sell now. Or you should have sold a while ago, actually, but sell now. Get out now. Why the hell would you buy now? You don't buy high, you buy low. So no, I do not have 1 penny invested in a stock in any American companies other than the ones that are my companies. New. Have you ever met Tom Terrell in real life? He's a good friend of mine many times, yes. Also, do you as of today know any more details about his death? A little bit, but I'm not going to share anything publicly. Obviously, I don't expect you to share them. Okay, just curious if you know more 10 months. I know a little more, but not much more. I know a little bit. Yeah, I know Tom. His friend of mine. Many times we met in London. Yeah, it was awesome. It's horrible what happened to him. How is your Zoomer girlfriend doing? I don't have a girlfriend. The one who doesn't know anything about pre-millennium culture. All my FBs are like that. They're all like that. What you mean is not girlfriend. They're called FBs. I have a wife, so I can't have a girlfriend, but I can have FBs. Those are friends with benefits. I have several of them in many different countries, and a lot of them are like that. Some of them, every once in a while, you'll have one like my daughter who's 23. She knows all about the Beatles and stuff. So every once in a while, you'll have one woman who knows all about the pre-2000, but most of them are like, what? What was someone said the other day? What was it? What is... Not what's Ghostbusters. What I don't remember. Something really obvious to me in the 80s. They're like, what's that? I'm like, oh my God, I'm so old. Yeah. What kind of content you push on LinkedIn? I already answered that earlier. I don't know if you just came in. We have a podcast, business podcast, where I'm interviewing people on my team and customers, plus some other stuff. How can someone work for you? Send us an email. Tell us what your skill set is. Tell us what you want to do, and your odds are low, but you could give it a shot. I don't hire people. Someone else does that for me. The email would be theonlyblackdragon@gmail.com. What are the main differences between and similarities from your observations of millennials and Gen Z people? Gen Z is even worse. That's my observation. So millennials, they go into a job, they'll work, they don't like it, but they'll work, but they're pissed off if they're not the supervisor or manager within a week or two. They're like, I should be running this place. What the fuck? I went to college. They do that. Zoomers don't even want to work. They're like, I got to work? That's bullshit. I just want to stay home. It's worse. And what's hilarious is, for many years, you right-wingers said, don't worry, Caleb. Gen Z is conservative. They'll save America. They said it so many times, I had to write an article on my blog, you can look it up, calebjones.com, where I said Gen Z is not conservative. And I showed all these surveys and all these data points about how far left Gen Z is. The only reason they said that is because Gen Z was going to church a little more often than the millennials. But if you look at the politics, they're even more left-wing than millennials and more lazy than millennials. And that's saying something. So that's my observation. America's fucked. How can someone work for you? I answered that question. Since Instagram is going away, it's not going away. It's slowly declining. It's not going to go away. Did Facebook go away? No, it's going to decline for a long time. It's not going to do like MySpace. What's the next place on the rise to try and pick up chicks? I don't know that right now. That's a very good question. I don't know, because Instagram is pretty good. I still think it works for that. I'm talking about Instagram as a business-making mechanism, not as a social platform. It probably works. It still works just fine for that kind of stuff. I'm in a conundrum where I'm in a relationship with two girls. I don't want any girl questions on this live stream. I will do an Alpha Male 2.0 live stream on my other channel, and I will cover girl stuff there. LDAR Collectibles on YouTube. What's that mean? I don't know. Oh, speaking of that, we have more issues of Black Dragon and Pink Firefly coming for something else we're doing. We're up to issue 6. We've only released the first 2. I probably should have said that, but it's coming. Thoughts on Portugal, more specifically the Azores? No thoughts on the Azores. Portugal is probably the least bad country in Western Europe. I have some customers and clients in Portugal. If you put a gun to my head, make me move to Western Europe, I don't want to, and I would never do that. But if you put a gun and force me, it would probably be Portugal. So, but again, if you're going to move somewhere in the world from the Western world, don't move to Portugal. It's in the Western world. Moving from one part of the collapsing West to another part of the collapsing West doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't make sense to me. But yes, you put a gun in my head, that's the least bad. Have you read the book Sex at Dawn by Christopher? Of course, yes. What's your opinion of the book? I agree with most of it. Christopher Ryan believes, like you and me, that monogamy isn't natural. It's not a belief, it's a fact. This is Alpha 2.0 stuff, though, but biologists will tell you it's a fact. Human beings are pair bonding creatures, that's true, but we are not monogamous creatures. We never were. We were never designed for this. He is right about that. It's not an opinion. That is a biological fact. Biologists will tell you this. Now, they'll say it very quietly because they're married too. I've written articles about this. Yes. And so the biological default for you as a man is to settle down with one girl you really like, one woman, girlfriend or wife, but you want to get some on the side, don't you? That's how you're wired, and that's how it works. By the way, that's what I do. I have a non-monogamous marriage. I'm married to my wife. I love her to death. I want to be with her the rest of my life. Love her to death. I love her more than any other woman I've ever loved in my life. And I have FBs on the side occasionally because monogamy doesn't work long term. Works for a while. Works for a few years, not forever. The Bible and the Quran says Israel rule the world. Do you think it's accurate? No, that is fantasy. Religion is another form of societal programming. It's not real. I'm also setting up my first business. Would you recommend YouTube channel first or website? Both. YouTube channel and a website. So Paraguay is a good play. Seems like good people, not heavily dollarized. Yes, Paraguay is fantastic. Depending on what you want. America is unbearable. I agree. You can sense the desperation everywhere. I agree. The only places I can stand are rich enclaves. And even those, I work with a lot of rich people. Even the rich people are pissed off. They're not as bad, but yeah, they're pissed off too. Rich people bitch about politics too. It's just a different set of complaints. Rich people in Dubai do not bitch about politics. Me and Pink Firefly, I should say Pink Firefly and I got to use correct grammar. We're hanging around a lot of very, very, wealthy. I went to Harvard. Oxford. I went to Oxford University and rich motherfuckers. They don't give a fuck about politics. They don't care. But in the United States, they do because they're worried it's going to get taxed and there are no taxes in Dubai. They don't give a fuck. That works. The UK is USA on steroids if you add constant shitty weather, smaller country size, and low wages. I can't disagree. I know a lot of people in the UK, like I mentioned, Pink Firefly, all of our friends in Dubai are UK people. And they all bitch about the UK. I mean, it's bad. Americans bitch about America, but the UK, they're so angry. Talk about angry. The difference is people in the UK will actually leave the UK. Americans will stay here. Oh, I can't go anywhere because everywhere is horrible except the United States. So I'm going to just stay in the United States and collapse with the United States. People in the UK actually they're more European, so they're more likely to pack their shit and leave, which is good. Meant to say if you have mental disabilities, oh, I see. Should government provide these services for people in your perfect country? No. In my perfect country, I wrote a 10-page dissertation, 10-article, 10-part series on how I would design the least unfree country in the real world. Because there are people with bad genetics and can't start businesses. No, not everyone should start a business. Not everyone should start a business. Some people shouldn't. Now, if you're on this channel, you should because you like this content. So you should start a business. But should everyone in the world start a business? No. So it's not the government's job to make sure everyone starts a business. No. You do not give welfare spending to any human beings or any companies. No welfare for people, no welfare for companies. That is not the role of the government. Prior to the 1940s, prior to Social Security and the welfare state, over 1/3, I believe the number was 36% of working men regularly donated money and or time to poor people. And no one forced them to do it. They just did it. And then when the USA became a welfare state, that 36% went down to like 2%. It's, well, government will take care of it. And government does it worse than charities. Some charities are pretty bad, but government does it worse than charities. So no. No one would get a single penny from government. And if you wanted to help poor people, it would be easy because you would live in a society where taxes would be 2 or 3 or 4%, and you'd be making $100,000 a year. So you'd have more than enough money, and healthcare would be super cheap. So you'd have more than enough money to help poor people. And that's what happens. We know this for a fact from history. Stop watching The Boys after season 1. Is season 2 worth watching? It's not bad. You can get citizenship in Argentina in 2 years, but you can't renounce. That's not true. It will not take you 2 years. I'm sorry. That's a myth. It will take you longer than 2 years, and you might not ever get it. But you can't renounce. You think that's a problem for future authoritarian taxes? I don't understand the question. Are you holding any chain link? No, but I have pirate chain. Opinion on trans people. I have no opinion on 3% of the population or 2% of the population. I just don't. Same thing with gay people. I don't have an opinion on 3% of the population. If it was like 26% of the population, then I have an opinion. But I have no opinion on a teeny tiny percentage of the population. I just don't care. Just not. And it's not something you should care about either. This is another political thing. Let's look for things to disagree about so we can get mad about politics. What should we find? Oh, trans people, a fraction of 1% of the population. Let's get really mad about this. Here's the problem with this stuff, this social culture war bullshit. Here's a perfect example. About 5-6 years ago when they legalized gay marriage in the United States across the board in most states, everyone had an opinion on gay marriage, right? Left-wingers and right-wingers were fucking furious. People could talk for 20 minutes about their opinion about gay marriage, and they could write long fucking rants on Facebook about gay marriage. Pro or con, left or right, didn't fucking matter. But if you asked any of these people, so wait a second. No. If you asked any of these people, what's your opinion on the Federal Reserve? They go, what's that? So on a topic that affects a fraction of 1%, because most gay people don't get married. I wrote an article about this years ago when it was a topic. Most gay people don't want to get married. So this is a topic that affects a fraction of 1%. Everyone wants to talk about that. But the Federal Reserve, something that affects 100% of all Americans and most of the entire planet Earth, they don't even know what it is. And the reason they don't know what it is they're too focused on transgender bathrooms and Kyle Kaepernick not kneeling at a fucking football game. You see why America's collapsing? You see why the West is fucked up? You see where everyone's focus is? Your focus should be on Federal Reserve, inflation rates, QE, right? Money printing, collapse the West. Don't worry about this bullshit about trans people, gay people, okay? What's the latest thing is abortion? Oh no, the Supreme Court abortion. No. Focus on the wrong things. And the elites do this on purpose. They take these shiny objects and hang them in front of you Trump supporters and left-wingers, and you go, ooh! And they're like, good. They're bitching about trans people. We can continue to collapse the economy and make billions of dollars from these idiots. The elites are very smart about this. The two-party political system was genius by the elites. Genius. We're going to make them think they have choice. We're going to make them think if they vote for certain people like Obama or Trump, it'll like change the country and say, this is fucking, it won't change a goddamn thing, but they'll think so. And they'll argue with each other and scream at each other, and they'll ignore us and let us keep doing whatever the fuck we're doing. It's genius. Do you have any foreign real estate investments? Not yet. I am very slowly, that's a very slow part of my plan. I will in Southeast Asia, but I have to do it right, and I'm going very slowly. Opinion on Chile. Chile is very good, not nearly as good as it used to be. It was much better about 10 years ago. I think they peaked about 10 years ago, but it's still okay. Gen Z is done. Gen Z is the future of the United States. Get used to it, buddy. Unless you leave the United States, then you won't care. I don't worry about Gen Z, but if you're going to live in the United States the rest of your life, that's who's going to run the country. Have fun. Have fun when the millennials take power. Have fun with that. Gen X, my generation, is just now starting to take power. And we're a pretty shitty generation too. Not as bad as millennials, though. We're not as bad as baby boomers or millennials, but we're still pretty bad. Then a few years, it's going to be the millennials who take over shit. Get ready. And then it's the Gen Z. Oh, my God. This stuff just makes me laugh now because I don't live there anymore. Facebook's ads work really well. They really don't, actually. But I hate giving money to Zuckerberg. They don't work well because they ban you all the time. It's very hard to make money on Facebook ads as compared to it was 5, 6, 7 years ago. Is there any way to drive traffic looking to buy a site without using Facebook ads? Yes, YouTube ads. We exclusively run ads on YouTube now. And we're going to start doing it on TikTok and LinkedIn. So YouTube ads are awesome. They're the shit, but they're video. So you better get on video. I need to go soon. Let me check my schedule here. I've been going for quite a while. Oh, shit. Yes, I need to go. Daddy needs to go. So I'll hang out for like 10 minutes, and I gotta buzz. Caleb, I want to be rich like you. I never said I was rich. I never talked about my net worth. Maybe I'm poor. Maybe I have no money. Maybe I have a lot of money. I don't know what I never said I was rich. How do I provide a service that pays well? Too general a question. You niche, find a narrow niche with a severe problem you can help alleviate or solve. That's it. Where do you see opportunity? All over the place. Healthcare is the biggest one. 3D printing, yes, but that is a kind of a high ticket, and that's be an expensive business to start. So there are cheaper businesses to start than 3D printing. Portugal people are really cool and have specific attitudes. They're really like, yeah, Portugal's, like I said, the least bad country, but there are better places in the world to move to than Portugal. There just are. Probably not a question you like answering, but is there a country in the Western world that you recommend staying in more so than others if you don't want to move out of the Western world? Well, I just talked about Portugal. The Western world is bad, but there's least bad. So Portugal, I guess. I don't know. I don't know because I think you shouldn't be in the Western world. You can move to an English-speaking country and not be in the Western world. Okay? Panama, I don't recommend moving to Panama anymore, but that's an example of an English-speaking country that's not in the West. I live in Dubai. It's an English-speaking country. It's not in the West. Hong Kong, English-speaking country, not in the West. Singapore, English-speaking country, not in the West. If you're just worried about English, a lot of countries speak English, they're not in the West. And there are a lot of countries that you can get by speaking, like Armenia. You can get by speaking English there. Sort of. Maybe not the best example, but. Would renting my flat apartment out in London be a good source of income when I move abroad for good? Sure. Are you going to continue visiting Western European countries in the future? Oh, yes. I know you've been in the UK in the past. I'm hitting UK hard next year. If you're in the UK, I'll be seeing you guys next year. Pink Firefly 2. We have some big plans in the UK. We will probably also be in, or I will be in Switzerland next year, doing a bunch of European shits. The answer is yes. I'm going to try to make it to Germany and Poland. I don't know about that. Definitely Switzerland, definitely UK. And a few other places I'm forgetting. The answer is yes. How do you know if a niche is oversaturated? Then it's not a niche. It's an industry. For instance, the homesteading niche. If it's oversaturated, it's not a niche. So homesteading is not a niche. If it's oversaturated, it's an industry. You need to niche further. There's no such thing as a saturated niche. There's only saturated industries. So if it's saturated, it's not a niche. What website for your consulting practice? I've destroyed it a long time ago because I'm not taking any new clients. I don't want it. I'm shutting that business down slowly. I don't want any more consulting clients. I'm making too much money doing other things. So I don't have it anymore. It used to be calebjones.com. That is now my Sovereign CEO website. Closest thing would be my LinkedIn page. So if you go to alphamale20.com/links, all my websites and all my social media pages there, click LinkedIn. That's the closest thing you could, but I don't want any more consulting clients. I'm trying to back off on that stuff. At my income level, people who make more money than me have all told me, and they're right, Caleb, if you want to make what we make, you need to start backing off on all client implementation, coaching, consulting, you start backing off on all that and start focusing on CEO level stuff and marketing. So I don't want any more consulting clients. Does that mean you don't vote? Correct. Voting is the stupidest thing you could possibly do in the Western world. Don't vote. I haven't voted in 20 years. That's just absolutely ridiculous. The only time voting makes any sense is at the municipal level, voting at your city level. If you vote at your state level, that's fucking stupid because most or many U.S. states are bigger than most countries. So a state is equivalent to a country. You're not going to make a goddamn dent in that, okay? You vote at federal elections, you're just a fucking moron. You're not going to change a goddamn thing, right, Trump supporters? Did Trump make America great again? Nope. Okay. Voting is a complete waste of your fucking time. I don't know. I know why people do it. It's something that creates warm emotional fuzzies. It's not something that actually fixes any problems. I've voted 20 years, 25 years. Stupid. The question was, if you get Argentine citizenship and the government gets citizenship-based taxation, then you can't escape. The odds of countries that are not big entrenched countries like the United States actually imposing and enforcing, so both is imposing and enforcing citizenship-based taxation are very low. That's 2% rule stuff, so I wouldn't worry about it. Very unusual. Caleb, is it just me or using online dating in Europe is more difficult than in other places? You cannot generalize about Europe. Some places in Europe are easier. Some places in Europe are harder. Berlin is harder. Spain is easier. So it depends. Can't generalize about Europe. Opinion on New Hampshire, the Free State Project. Liberty community in New Hampshire seems pretty optimistic and bustling. It will not work. It will fail. The Free State Project will fail. The Guatemalan Project will fail. Just like the Freedom Ship Project was failed. Just like Peter Thiel's Island failed. All these libertarian little enclave projects will fail, fail, fail. Harry Brown said this 20 years ago. He's right. These will never work. The answer is not out there. The answer is here in your life. Alpha 2.0, Sovereign CEO, 5 flags, location-dependent income. Focus on that. All these libertarian projects, God love them to death. They never work. The Doug Casey thing in Argentina failed. Okay, Dollar Vigilantes thing failed. It's not gonna work. You mentioned before that you don't recommend cold email. Why is that? Very hard to make money with cold email. Extremely difficult. There's much better ways to spend if you're going to spend money on ads, YouTube ads will give you a far higher ROI than fucking cold email. By far, you can't even compare the two things. Is health supplements business good? No, it's a saturated industry. Anything in fitness is very saturated. I don't recommend it at all. Planning to start one in India. The industry is still growing in the country. All right, maybe, I don't know. India, I couldn't speak for India. You better niche though. You better micro niche, not just supplements. A supplement solve a specific problem. You focus on that. Maybe, I don't know, but I can't speak to India. Adding my past question regarding renting out my flat, even with the collapse of the West. In the medium term, sure. In the medium term is fine. Long term, no. Your opinion on the British pound crisis and energy crisis in Europe. Boy, are you Europeans fucked this winter. Have fun, guys. I've been saying move out of Europe for many years, and now you're going to feel the pain of not moving out of Europe because Putin has fucked up your heating oil. Oh my God. I don't have an opinion on it. It's going to be a fucking nightmare this winter for you guys. It's going to be a nightmare. Have fun with the government saying you got to turn off your electricity for 6 hours a day. Get out of Europe. Please do not ask me woman questions in this live stream. I will do another live stream at the Alpha 2.0 channel where I will answer woman questions. Okay. I'm going to let you guys go. I don't see any more questions. But I need to go anyways. That's the perfect timing. Unless there's something wrong with my stream here. Is my stream still going? Yeah, we're good. I hope this has been helpful. I will do another live stream in a week at the Alpha Male 2.0 YouTube channel where we can discuss anti-aging, lifestyle, dating chicks, non-monogamous relationships, and all the other stuff that I wasn't able to answer in this one. So I will do that in about a week or so. I don't have a date yet. I apologize that the email that went out apparently was wrong. That is my fault. My fault. It's my fault. I'd love to blame other people, but I can't. That was on me. Usually these things are on my fault. So, cool. I will, I'll answer one more question. Countries with good gun laws, none better than the U.S. Here's the deal about this. You need to own a gun if you live in the United States because the United States is a warlike, violent culture. If you live in Japan, for example, you don't need to own a gun because there is no gun crime there because they're not a bunch of psycho warlike motherfuckers like us Americans. So this Americanized view of I need a gun wherever I live. I live in Dubai. It is the first or second, depending on the stats you look at, safest city in the world. It would be stupid for me to need to own a gun in Dubai. It's dumb. I don't need to. So therefore, gun restrictions don't matter in Dubai. Now, they do matter in the United States. So you do need a gun in the United States. When I lived in the United States, I had a gun. You better have a gun if you live in the U.S. But if you go outside the U.S. and you go to somewhere much safer and less violent, Americans underestimate how violent Americans are, where it's a non-violent culture. You don't need a gun. Again, it's an American view you're planting on the entire planet. You don't need it. There might be other countries you may need a gun. Then don't move to those countries. Don't move to high. That's why I don't recommend Central America. Too much crime. Don't move there because you need a gun. You live in Guatemala or Honduras or something. You need a fucking gun. But if you need a gun to live there, don't move there. That's the other. Doesn't work. So that mindset doesn't work. Anyway, thank you very much. I gotta go. Love you guys, and there will be more videos coming this week on the channel. 90-day business builder. You got like 2 more weeks for this, I think. Okay, 90-day. So 90daybizbuilder.com. We will actually show you, walk you through the process, hold your hand, and make you do it. How to set up your business, even if you've never set up a business before, even if you have no idea what to sell. And you will be making money within 90 days, guaranteed, or we will continue to work with you forever until you make money. Most successful program I have ever done. I'm not kidding. And be on my mailing list because we start the training videos that are free for 90 Day Business Builder for free. Get those for free on my mailing list, CalebJones.com, and click the thing that says download the Location Independence Toolkit. That'll get you on the list because that starts on Friday. Cool? Cool. All right. Have fun, guys.